Welcome to another edition of Habs Tonight, a special edition of Habs Tonight. Join with me, as always, my partner in crime, Mr. Dutch Gretzky himself, Mr. Dale Weise.
What's going on, bud? How are we tonight?
It is a good night, and I am super pumped. I've been pumped about this night all week, all month, and even before I was even born.
Likewise, buddy. I know when we mentioned about it, that this was big for us and how big of fans we both were. So,
oh yeah, man. Look at you. Do I see the inner Cherry, the inner Don Cherry look over there right now?
Not quite as good, but I'm trying to channel it the best that I can. He invented these kind of suits. This is what made them popular. You see guys walking in every Saturday, you know exactly where they got it.
Oh, I love it. And I loved how he highlighted all the boys walking in from the bus, coming in with their suits. There's just so much to talk to him about. And there are some individuals in this world who need a very much of a long introduction. I think when it comes to Don Cherry, it's a short one, but it's a sweet one. So, from 1980 onwards, he has been a fixture in anything to do with hockey. He's been breaking down games, plays, and the overall anything to do with the NHL, international hockey. He's been doing absolutely everything. Someone that I've looked up to my whole life is watching hockey. I know from your point of view as a hockey player, he's just the ultimate professional when it comes to hockey. And tonight is an exciting night. So since 1980, he's been hosting and hosted Hockey Night in Canada, Coach's Corner. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you on a Saturday night on Habs Tonight, Mr. Don Cherry.
Boy, I don't think I was too happy. Look at that. Hey, that was pretty good. Dale, good to see you. Boy, we're going to see a great fight later on. I'll tell you that.
Oh, look how sharp you look tonight, Don. Oh my!
This is my son's rec room, and this is the second time I've been down here, so I'm very happy to be back. Habs, you know where that comes from? Habs, Habitant.
Oh yeah. And we love the hat, by the way. You're promoting good old Canada there. I love that.
Well, I showed Dale with his hat on. I said I put mine on.
And that actually did happen in the green room. Don sits down looking all sharp and beautiful as he is, and he sees Dale with his fedora on. He says, well, you're not going to one-up me, buddy. I'm going to wear my hat to match up with you. I love that.
I'm glad to be here. And with Dale, the Dutch Gretzky, I like that Dutch Gretzky. Boy, he scored a lot of goals.
I had some clutch ones. Those are the most important ones in the playoffs, right?
You better believe it. The playoffs, you can do anything you want. The regular season doesn't make any difference. Everybody remembers the playoffs, and that's the way it should be. And so we'll see what the Leafs do in the playoffs. I see they got Eric. I believe Eric's going to do very good in Montreal. I really do. I think he has something to prove.
And then, so we'll get into that. There's a few things I want to get into tonight. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, right? So this week has been a very interesting week. We've got, a COVID outbreak for the Montreal Canadiens and the NHL. We also have Tim Peel. And this one, Dale and I really want to touch on this with you because, a lot of people remember the fact that, a couple years ago, they made a switch. I forget what, 15 years ago, from one referee to two. And, the stuff that's going on the ice, the integrity of the game is very important. So we're going to talk about, is what happened really something that usually does happen? It's just people don't talk about it. As well as Eric Stahl gets traded from Buffalo over to Montreal and the situation with the Buffalo Sabres. I know you got a great podcast. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. And a big thank you to your son, Tim, for helping us put this whole thing together. Really appreciate all the help.
I have no idea what I'm doing. Tim does it all.
I'm the same way, Don. We have a great team in the back.
You look great in the back.
I'm actually in my parents' basement. That's why it looks so good. So
holy smokes.
Yeah.
His last contract didn't do very well, so he's back at him. Just kidding. We love Dale. He's my boy. It's great. So let's get into this right off the bat. So let's talk about COVID in the NHL. So it kind of worried me a little bit last week when this happened. The two players in Montreal, obviously, and I hate bringing up their names because it's not fair to them. COVID is COVID, right? Two players in Montreal. there's a variant of it going on. One was confirmed to be positive. They had to shut everything down with 15 minutes before the game. Ultimately, what are your thoughts? Do you think this was a good decision overall to make sure that everything's okay moving forward, or is it going to really stretch out and make it really tight for some of these games to get played?
What happens when it gets the playoffs? That's what bothers me. I mean, regular season, like I say, is nothing. Wait till the playoffs come in. You say you're walking in and Gallagher can't play because they cancel the whole thing. That's what bothers me is the playoffs. I'm not thinking of the regular season. I'm thinking of ahead of the playoffs because that's the main thing.
It's a great point. Dale can provide some color on this because Dale was in the bubble this past year. Last year, I should say. He was in the bubble in the playoffs. He was on Montreal when they were going to play in. Dale, was that a concern when did they talk about that in the bubble that, hey, this could all get shut down even if we're in the first or second or third round?
Yeah, that was the hugest concern. So when we were going through the discussions in the summer, even if we were going to play at all, that was the number one discussion. So, say you get into a conference final, you're the Pittsburgh Penguins and Sidney Crosby can't play that night. Like, how does that become fair? Or you lose 5 guys and you got to replace them. So that was huge for us. And I know, Don, me and Aaron have talked about this, how when we were testing in the bubble, the testing was a little different than when we were in training camp in Montreal. So I don't know if the testing gets changed when they get down to the playoffs and they're not as sticky on the testing. I don't know. I was actually watching PK Subban today. He posted live one of his tests, and it was, they barely went in his nose, which I thought was very interesting because I don't know what you're going to find out when you're doing that. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen down the stretch. Do they get a little more serious on testing? Do they kind of let it go for the playoffs? I don't know.
They wrapped it pretty good with a lot of money. If they start taking away drafts, it's going to be a lot of trouble there. So we don't know what's going on. They know what's going on, but it's going to be, like I say, when the playoffs come around, going to be a lot of anxious guys around.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on players getting, I don't want to say front of the line, but on players and teams getting vaccinated first and foremost, because, they're in this situation where, some teams can get certain vaccinations, or do you believe that, let's make sure everybody, the elderly has all the vaccines first.
Get the players, get it done because they're close to, they're all like that. The other ways you can spread out. I had my shot the other day, which was pretty good. But no, I believe the players should get it because they're so close all the time. And I mean, people that does that, that's left wing nonsense that talks like everybody should have the same thing and everything. Same old baloney. Culture cancel, as they say.
I feel the same way. I think when you look at it, like you said, they're a lot closer than everyone else. You have the option to walk around in public and wear your mask. You're not in a contact sport, and if they got the resources to do it, I don't see. They're providing a nice form of entertainment, a kind of escape for people that don't have a lot going on right now. I agree with you on that one.
Not in Buffalo.
Yeah. And I don't get why do the coaches and the trainers have to wear the mask?
Yeah, I don't get that either. But it looks good. It looks good. You have to, in this world and the way the world is today, you have to look. I mean, it's ridiculous, the trainers and the coaches, as soon as they get off, they take it right off as soon as they come in. But it looks good and it keeps everybody happy. That's why they do it.
Yeah, and that's a very, very good point. So let's get into the next one, the big hot topic. We had Brandon Prust on when this came out, the same day that Tim Peel was caught with the hot mic. There was a lot of issues when it came to this. I know, and obviously I never played the game. Weise has, you have, Prusty has. They have some opinions on this. So I think I'll leave this to Dale to talk about, but the integrity of the game here, I think, is extremely important. Yeah,
I mean, I touched on it when I talked with Prusty that this is something that just can't happen. I know a lot of people are saying, well, he's been around forever and he's got all this experience and he did everything, and I think that's great. And then I never had any personal run-ins with Tim Peel. I have my opinion on how arrogant he was at times, but when you get caught saying that, you're completely testing the integrity of the game. And to me, that just can't happen. I've said it before, like I've been in situations where I get called on a penalty in the last 5 minutes of the game. It's a shit call. It's not even a penalty. The ref decides he's going to, hold a previous agenda against me. They score on the power play and I'm out of the lineup the next night. Now you're hurting my job. So, that shit can't happen.
Well, the very first one that I remember, and you guys wouldn't remember, was Bobby Clark. Bobby Clark was in the penalty box, and he stood up, and I can't say what he said to the referee on this air here, and that was the very first time. Then they stopped it for a long time. They never did anything. Then the next time I heard about it, I heard, you hear about it. I was coaching the Bruins, and Eddie Von Hellman. Remember Eddie Von Hellman? He'd come over, Don, you have to stay in. And you have to change the lines faster. You have to do this fast. I thought, this guy's losing his mind here. And we found out that he was the first. He got mic'd, and that's what happened with Tim. He got the live mic. He forgot he had that on. That happens all the time. That happens. I remember we get up 5-1 or something like that, and we get penalty after penalty after penalty. And I remember saying to John McCauley, "Is that enough?" And he said, they used to control the game. I didn't like it at the time when I was coaching. They did control the game. If you, for instance, say you're beating a team 6-1, and there's no way they're coming back or anything like that. He'll start giving the team, or he should start giving the team that's winning more penalties. If you keep giving them to the other team that's losing, they're going to come back and they really bite you. They're going to have fights. They're going to have everything. But if you give it to the team that's winning, they'll just go through it. They control the game. And Tim, unfortunately, and that was sort of I hate to say it wasn't a bad penalty, but I thought it could have been a penalty. The calls they call now, my goodness, some of those, excuse me, some of those fake ones, a little tap like that, high sticking, slashing like that. That one, could have been. I don't know if it was a dive or not, to tell you the truth. And I feel sorry for Tim. Me feel sorry for. He was going to retire. He was going to retire in a month, but that doesn't make any difference. It's tough to retire and go through life knowing you're retired because you said something like that. So I feel sorry for him. I really do. He made a mistake. And don't forget now, they have betting in the National Hockey League. Yeah. Now you're sitting home and you got a lot of money, and all of a sudden this guy calls the penalty. I want to even up. So as soon as I heard they had betting, I said, there's not much they can do. And they think they're with the National Football League. The National Football League controls everything.
Yeah.
Set out. Not like that. That's live. That's stupid. That was a stupid play. Letting a guy like that, there should have been, whoever was in charge should have heard that and done something about it. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, I mean, well, you think as soon as the play is dead, whoever is in control of the mic, you hit the button. That's it. It's that person's job.
When I was at Coach's Corner, that's what they tried to do with me. They said they had a 7-second delay. They didn't have a second delay.
They didn't need the delay. I preferred when you just said it and it came out perfect.
No. And we loved it. We were showing a clip before. We'll get to that clip afterwards. And by the way, anybody wants to interact, you email us at live@habstonight.com. It's in the description as well. We'll get you on the air. You can interact a little bit with Don. And it's been a while since we've seen you on a Saturday night, so we're really happy that you decided to come on.
I was on the street. He was a hockey player, and you could tell he was a hockey player. And he said, I was taking the dog for a walk, and he says, "I want to just tell you, I don't watch it anymore." He says, "And neither do the guys I play with." He says, in between, I said, "Well, thanks very much." Makes me feel good that hockey guys like Dale and Aaron and you guys still like me. That makes me feel good.
Don, everybody in the locker room loved you when you were on. Everybody. I've never heard one single player that I've ever played with, been around, talked to, that didn't absolutely love your comments. You were off the collar. You said exactly what everyone was thinking. And I know when I was growing up, it was always like a tough brand of hockey. And I think that was kind of the old school way. And I remember watching you, I was like, man, if I get in the NHL, I need to get in a fight so I can get on Don Cherry. And
sure, you want to show that one. I want to see Dale in that fight.
And then sure enough, like my first game, I get in a fight and you put me on Hockey Night in Canada. That was one of my proudest moments of my whole career.
Let's roll that clip, Mr. Producer. Yeah, James Black, let's put it on.
Dale Weise from Winnipeg. Go ahead, show it here. It was a goal, but anyhow, it is a goal as far as I'm concerned. Watch, if that had been Crosby, what are you doing? Okay.
Dale Weise.
All right.
Yeah,
Winnipeg, they didn't count it. If that had been Crosby, they would have counted it. And it's his first game. There was a kick afterwards, and they don't count it. But he has with my buddy Dan Sarcello, he has a nice little fight. And the guys take it off.
That kills me. They loosened the gator.
Yeah, well, people can figure that out. Anyhow, here he is, and it's his first game. And now I got to hurry here. Match Duchesne.
Well, you had a beauty on it. Matt Duchesne. He had a lot to say about the referee. I heard him last night. He didn't have an awful lot to say. I mean, the referees. But that was a great fight.
Oh, yeah. And then you guys got featured so many times. There was the handshake with Lucic. And there's so many great clips of actually you talking about Dale. And it's so poetic to see this actually happening right now. The one thing that I want to say, so when we first said to everybody, obviously Dale and I both have a love and a passion for Montreal. Dale played for multiple cities, the Rangers, Philadelphia Flyers, Canucks. But the Habs are that team that stuck out with him, that he belongs, that he feels that it's home team. Everybody's got that. So, when it comes to Montreal, we know that you're a Bruins guy through and through. We know that you're a Leafs guy.
Oh, Muller was there. Kirk Muller was there.
Yes, exactly. Kirk Muller was there, and unfortunately he's not there anymore. They just they made that coaching change not that long ago. So we know you're a Boston guy through and through. Game 7. So let's settle this first and foremost for all the Habs fans that are watching right now. My thought is that you have a respect for Montreal as a team that you battle hard against. Yeah. So talk about your feelings for the Montreal Canadiens throughout the history, and that so all the Habs fans can actually hear that you don't hate Montreal.
Well, I hated Montreal when we played them, and Lafleur. I'll tell you what happened there is the crowd was calling the penalties. I remember Bob Myers, wasn't it Bob Myers? Bob Myers. The crowd was calling the penalties, so that's what I was doing. I wasn't showing off the thing. I was doing this here. For the crowd. The crowd is calling the penalty. And no, I always loved Lafleur. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have loved him, but I should have had. The one guy that we used to pick on him all the time was Milbury, Mike Milbury. You remember him, Mike Milbury, big defenseman we had. And he was an American, and he didn't quite. But I think I had too much reverence, as they say, for Lafleur. He was when he'd go down that ice, he used to have that. I think they had a thin sweater, and he had the long hair, and then boy, he looked like a million bucks. I remember one time he touched the puck. There he is. There he jumped. Must have won a game there. And anyhow, he was, and I had a lot of respect for them after. And the trouble with Montreal right now is Bergeron. I think his hair is too long.
You and my wife say the same thing.
Oh my goodness, he's a sharp-looking guy. He looks terrible. Hey, get that haircut, you think he'd be a lot better. I guess he's going to prove that he didn't get his haircut or something. But it's awful.
Yeah. He's doing something. Yeah, he's doing something. So what was it like? Obviously coaching, but I mean, people forget. We're talking about the Montreal Forum. We're talking about you coaching guys against Lafleur, against Robinson, against Gainey. I mean, you look.
Games. They lost 8 games, and 1 at home. Dale, he lost 1 game at home. We beat them, but 1 game at home. That's all they lost all year. It was the greatest hockey team. They had. Let's just go over. They had Shutt on left wing. He got 62 goals. They had Lemaire. He had 35. On the right wing, I think Lafleur had 52 goals. And then they had Savard and Robinson and Lapointe on all the time. And then they had Kenny Dryden in the net. They lost 1 game all year. That's 1 game. That's 1 game at home. And They lost only 8 games all year, and if they were, they just must have been fooling around to lose those. But that was the greatest hockey team that was ever. And I just happened to run on against them all the time.
So the truth comes out. We understand why that there is a little bit of animosity towards the Habs.
Well,
but you know what?
I'll tell you a funny story.
Please.
Yeah. I had the Bruins thinking that we were better than them, as long as you didn't go over their lineup. But we thought we were better than them. And I remember Milbury standing out looking at remember they used to have the white all the pennants they won, all the Stanley Cups they won up there. They used to have them in the Forum. And he was standing there looking at him, and a French guy come up and he says, Monsieur Milbury, I can see that you're impressed with the pennants up there. And he said, no, I'll tell you the truth, I thought they looked chintzy.
Oh, man.
Didn't do anything. We didn't win any of it, but they were a tough team. They were, and Bobby Orr feels that we should have a flagship like that. And, because when they come into town, it's like Hail the Conquering Hero when Montreal used to come in. But the big team, when I was in Colorado, the big team that I used to was when Philadelphia came in. And, Philly had the Broad Street Bullies and all back in those days. And when they came into town, it was like everybody wanted to see Schultz and Bobby Clark and all those guys. It was a big deal. So I really believe there should be a flagship. Now, everybody is pretty well the same.
Who could you say on the Boston side, in recent history and in the past, would you say is the most talented francophone, from Quebec player that you've seen?
Donnie Marcotte. Donnie Marcotte played in our team. I mean, Donnie Marcotte should have won that Selke Award. I mean, he'd get 20 goals. And Gainey, I'm not knocking Gainey, but he used to win it all the time, and he never had to check Lafleur. And Donnie Marcotte had to check Lafleur. And then John Rattel was the most talented that I had. He was like he used to get hat tricks. And John Rattel, the most talented was John Rattel, and he was a class guy. He was a Belleville type guy.
Yeah,
he really was. He was a class guy. So I'd have to say those two guys. And then Rene Ribert was a good friend of mine in Colorado. So I had Carl Vanier. I keep going on here. They're all friends.
This is
Carl Vanier. Andy Savard, another French guy, said, when you see Vad, you see grapes. When you see grapes, you see Vad. So Carl Vanier was, he's hung around an awful lot with a lot of French guys down there, didn't I? So I had a lot of fun. And Montreal, that team, you get a penalty.
Tell them the John Rattel story, the face-off.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you, when you get a kick out of this, Aaron, you get a kick out of it. So it was a face-off just inside the blue line, and we're winning 3-2 or something like that. And John Rattel was our best face-off guy. So I remember he had a little cut, little neck, his blood was he'd wear a little blood, and the sweat was running. And so I had the bright idea, there was only 20 seconds left, and the guy was the left-hand draw on the right-hand side, pull it back, go with them, and they'll be in the end, the game will be over. So I never did this usually before, but I was getting a little excited. So I went down in front, and I called Jean over just before the face-off. I said, now, Jean, when you do this, when you face off like that, don't pull it back on our end because we could get a goal. I said, pull it like that. And he says, yes, Danny, I have that figured out. And the bench just roared. He thought that was so funny. Me telling John Rattel how to do a face-off. And he did it, by the way. He did. But it was funny, him standing there, this classic French guy with the blood running down and the sweat running down. And, yes, Danny, I have it figured out. That was my funny story at the time.
Oh no, I love it. We got a couple of people on the line that would like to chit chat with you for a second. So let's go to Emerson. We'll take Emerson in the call. Emerson, how are you?
How's it going?
We're doing great, thank you. So you're on with Dale Weiss and Don Cherry.
Nice to
Floor
meet
is
you
yours,
guys.
my friend.
Pardon?
Floor is yours.
Oh, hi Don. I just had a question. So, having just finished my minor hockey career last year, what advice would you give to someone like me who didn't get the opportunity to play this year, who's trying to make it to the next level?
Boy, it's tough, isn't it? With the Tim actually is a scout for the OHL. It's going to be tough this year with the not playing in that. I don't know how you do it. Dale, do you know how to answer this?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I'm wondering myself, like, I see myself probably playing in Europe next year at some point, and I'm trying to figure out myself, okay, I haven't played for a year. How am I going to get myself, ready to be at, the top of your game? So, I think you just really got to be hounding on your off season program. If you can't skate, I know when I was younger, I did a ton of hill work to work on my skating.
Yeah, I just talked to Tim. He's saying the same thing. That you have to keep your skating. That's the name of the game now.
Yep.
And it's tough. There's nobody scouts can go look at them now. So the name of the game, Emerson, is get as much skating in as you can.
For
Absolutely.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Great advice.
Thank you so much, Emerson. Have yourself a wonderful week and enjoy the weekend.
Hey, thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Thank you. Next person on the line, we've got Dennis. Dennis, welcome to Habs Tonight, and you are on with Dale Weise and Mr. Don Cherry. I think we got a couple of echoes there. You got to turn that volume down.
Holy jeez. Dennis, you having a party over there? What's going on?
He's got the volume up on a couple of those.
He knew Don Cherry was on. He invited everyone on the street. Hey, he's on. Come on. Everybody come over to my house.
They're having a drink.
Hey, Dennis is back.
Dennis. Nice, Dennis. So what's the question?
Yeah, just a couple of glasses of wine, but we're doing all right.
Should be drinking beer.
Hey, Don, quick question. Back when you were big rivalry between Boston and Montreal in the 70s, Ken Dryden was there, stoned you guys. How was it with all this going through? The players being, frustrated, not being able to put anything in there.
It's a funny thing. I remember we were in overtime, and was it Donnie Marcotte or Pierre O'Reilly?
Donnie Marcotte.
It was Donnie Marcotte. He shot the puck, and Dryden is so tall that he was on his knees. If it had been an ordinary guy, it would have went in the top corner. We were all standing up. We thought he scored. It just hit the top of his shoulder and ticked off. It was overtime, and we went on to New York. But it was tough being against Dryden. He was so big, and what really ticked me off is how we used to lean on a stick. It was just a piece of cake. But he was a great goaltender.
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Thank you very much for coming in there, Dennis. We appreciate that. Let's go to Steve. Steve, right now we're going to add you in. Steve, welcome to Habs Tonight. You're on with Dale Weise and Don Cherry.
Hey, guys. Thanks very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Looks like an enforcer, doesn't he, Dale?
Oh, you're a big dude, Steve.
Quick question for you, Don. I just want to get your thoughts on the draft lottery and the rules involved with that. And, if it was your decision, what do you think is kind of the fairest choice on how they determine first pick?
That's a tough one, boy. I like it that you can't win. Somebody said you can't win it more than twice, but I remember they used to tank it, and I think the last one they tanked it was when they wanted Mario Lemieux. I think it was one of the last, anyhow. And they tanked it there, and you'd play the team, and you knew the coach. It's the coach's fault. Like, you got to get to the coach because you say, look, you got a contract for next year. The whole deal. So it's as fair as it can be, but it is tough. Me personally, it's tough seeing. I would love to see McDavid here in Toronto,
right?
Seeing him every night, but no, it's as fair as it can be, and I don't know how else I don't know how else you do it. That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, no, it's tough, Steve. Especially right now with the new rules and with what's going on. How do you? Yeah, everything is kind of in motion, as they say. It's
got a great hat on there.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Don. You too.
Okay, Steve, thank you very much for calling in. We appreciate that. Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the draft, the rules are being changed. No one knows really what's going on. That's the thing. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm now more worried that something's going to happen in the playoffs, and all this hard work may be for nothing. But I have a feeling.
I feel sorry for Emerson, don't you? Like he's got nowhere. Like, where can the scouts see him? I mean, it's going to be tough.
Right.
You're right, Dale. He just go out and skate. That's the only thing he can do.
That's all you can do, right? And then if you're good enough, people will find you eventually. So you keep putting the work in.
So what's your thought on the North Division? And we can go through a couple of the teams right now. I know, by the way, you got a great podcast, and if anybody wants to find your podcast, they can go on any of the platforms. I used to listen to your podcast. I still do on. There you go, right there. Grapevine on Spotify. That's where I find it, and some really great stuff. So
what's there? That's not a German shit. That's a German Shepherd.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
terrier on there.
Yeah, if you watch the screen, there's so many comments that are coming in and questions that people are posting, and so we put them up on the screen afterwards, and we can actually go into them. Yeah. Someone says over here, Karen says Don's podcasts are on Spotify, and they are awesome. So look at that.
We were picked the who was it?
Biggest
Who did it?
Apple.
Apple picked us the best podcast, which is pretty good.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
That is hi, Don. It's a German Shepherd.
What a pretty dog. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
That dog, Rex. That guy, that TV show.
Oh, yeah.
I love that show.
Oh, yes.
I love German Shepherds. I love it.
German Shepherds are the best. So let's go through the North Division right now. Quickly, thoughts on Toronto Maple Leafs right now, Don Cherry?
Well, the Leafs, they look like they're in a little. Well, they won 2 in a row, but they're not playing the way they can play, and I think they need one more defenseman. That's what I think. One more defenseman. Their forwards are good enough. And it looks like this Campbell's pretty good too, hauling them in there, and they'll get Anderson back. So I think if they could get one more defenseman, I think it's easy to say because defensemen are the hardest thing in the world to get. So I would say they need one more defenseman.
Yeah. Dale, what's your thoughts on the Toronto Maple Leafs this year?
You know what? I think they're a really good hockey club. I think I agree with Don. Sorry. I think their defense is okay. I think Campbell has been unbelievable for them. It's when you're playing in a backup role, there's no pressure, right? Like he comes in, he's not expected to be the starter. He plays well. I think it's a different story if he comes into the playoffs and starts playing really well. Then you're saying, okay, we got someone here. But I really like their forwards. I think adding my boy Wayne Simmons was a great addition for them.
Oh, beauty!
I loved him in Philly. He's just just a warrior. You got that guy on your team. He just changes. It makes everyone feel 6 inches taller, and everybody feels like they can fight everybody. So he added a nice element for them. And when I look at the North Division, I don't know if anybody's close to them right now. I think they're the class of the North Division. And
I like McDavid though.
He's great. He's great. I just don't think they have enough in Edmonton. They just don't have enough surrounding those guys. So I hope Toronto stays healthy and that they have a really good chance. I think to go really far this year.
I still cheer for Boston, and Boston my team. And I don't know everybody they get there in Boston. They just seem to play better all the time. Look at Tenorti, how good he's playing right now. I mean, he got corked pretty good the other night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He really did. He tried to make that red line, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. That was a dangerous spot.
Yeah, that's a day. And Tanev was waiting. And Tanev, he's a tough kid. He's injured. I think he's injured now. But he led the team in the hits in Pittsburgh last year. And you know that he remembers that Tenorti hit Malkin the time before. And now, and he gave it that extra little shot there. But
absolutely.
I think he only missed a couple games.
Yeah, he's a tough kid. I was in Montreal with him when he got drafted there and he started there. And he's a tough kid. He's an absolute monster of a human being. And then, I played against him in the minors a year and a half ago when he was in, I think it was Milwaukee. And I thought he looked great out there. His skating was better. I was like, man, this guy's got to get an opportunity in the NHL. Someone give him another chance. And then, I was so pumped. He's such a good guy.
He looks like a Bruin.
Oh yeah, he is a typical Boston Bruins old school defenseman. So I'd fear for Tanev when they get back against each other next game.
Tanev though, he leads the team that hits, and he's a tough little guy. Not too big, but
Scrappy.
he's got a lot of heart. He's scrappy guy. That's it.
Yeah.
What do you say about we talked about McDavid? What do you say about them so far? Do you think they're going to be able to make it to the playoffs?
Who's that?
Edmonton and McDavid.
Oh, I'd say they make the playoffs. And I mean, you have two guys like that. I don't care. The best hockey player in the world is McDavid. I mean, by far. I mean, anybody that I'm not knocking anybody else, but I mean, nobody can touch McDavid. I mean, people pay to see him play. And I just hope he doesn't get hurt. He plays so reckless. He plays like Bobby. He plays reckless. He doesn't look after it. Like the other guys, kind of they're like here and there. He just goes, and he's like Bobby. Like I mean, nobody touches Bobby. I mean, 46 goals. I'll do it again. 46 goals as a defenseman. 89 assists. There, 89 assists.
That's incredible.
But Dale, listen to this. You'll like this. 200 minutes in penalties. 200 minutes in penalties.
He had 200 minutes in penalties?
When he scored all those points, he had 200 minutes in penalties.
No
way.
I
knew you'd like that, but nobody ever talks about that.
No, I didn't know that. I wouldn't even guess he would. I would have said he had 100 tops.
You thought he'd be a patty cake or something, but he had 200 minutes. I had to watch him all the time. He said, when I first went there, I mean, he grabbed the toughest guy and go after him. And hit this is the way I look at it. There's lots of goal scorers, but they don't hit and they don't fight. And there's lots of guys that can fight and hit, but they don't score. He can do it all. And Bobby, what was it? What was the next guy? I think the next guy, he had 46 goals. I think the next guy had 18 or something. Like next defenseman had 18. So he was by far. And the people that didn't see him play in person, I feel sorry for him.
Did you have to rein him in? Like, what would you say to him? Like,
I never said nothing. You want to hear the very first time I said something to him?
Yeah.
You probably listened. We had our first exhibition game in Moncton, and somehow or other it was his fault, one of the goals, and he's really mad. He's steaming so I didn't know him. I was my first coach, so he grabs the puck and he steams through the whole club and just puts it in the top corner. So you're best player. You go down and you say, "Hi, nice game, bud. Nice goal, Bobby." He says, "Well, thanks, coach. Thanks a lot." I never said a word to him for the rest of the year. I wouldn't go near him. And I tell you, when best, nice goal. Well, thanks, coach. Thanks a lot. I never said another word to him. And so he just did it. He just went on, and it's a funny thing. He gave away a couple of goals. Could have had 50 goals. And he gave away a lot of assists. And I'm not kidding. He'd give them, and he used to go to the referees, and they used to listen to him all the time. But I could go on about him and everything. But 46 goals, 83 assists, plus 123 and 200 minutes of penalties. Tell me somebody can beat that. You can't.
That's not going to be touched.
Never, buddy.
Wow.
That won't even be touched by a forward now. Nobody will have those stats.
No. What'd you say?
What would you tell the other players about?
Oh, yeah. He thought it was funny. I told the other players, don't go outside when he's got the puck. I meant it. He thought it was funny. And do that little geek at this thing, and I just don't go outside when he's got the puck. He thought it was funny. But he was fantastic. When he used to kill a penalty. I remember he used to kill a penalty. He'd stand and he'd get the puck. He'd kill the whole penalty by himself. And I always thought that he reminded me in baseball of Mickey Mantle. And Mickey Mantle had hit a home run. And if you remember Mickey Mantle running around the bases, he'd hold his head down all the time. And the reason he held his head down, they asked him one time, he says, "I didn't want to embarrass the pitcher." And Bobby, after he scored a goal, he put his hands on his knees and put his head down. And he never ever, the only time he ever put a stick in the air is when somebody else scored. But when he'd score, he'd always, and I think that's why the players liked him. And he only played till he was 28.
That's amazing.
And defensemen don't come in till their own till after 28.
For sure.
That is, and how it ended too with with him in Chicago. I mean, I don't even. No one ever thinks of him as a Blackhawk.
No.
It's always the Bruin, and he's as a Habs fan, he is one of the ultimate defensemen, probably the greatest.
Beautiful watch.
Him and PK Subban, those are my boys right there.
Thing you talk about Subban. I give heck to Subban when he first came to Montreal. And you remember, and I told him to stop that silly stuff, before I said he gets on people's nerves. He, well, Dale, that would get on anybody's nerve. Yep. And you notice now he's calm right down. He's playing pretty good this year. Last year he didn't play very good, but Subban, I always liked him. I liked him, but I had to give him heck. And
you know what? I think that's what players would respect about you, Don, is if you did something good, you would say, you know what, this guy's great. But if he did something the next night that was, probably not what you liked, you gave it to him too. And I love that.
Because I like Subban. Like we saw him play for the Marlies.
Yeah.
And I knew when he was 15 years old. So, and he acted the same then, but he's pretty special now. He's doing pretty good now.
World-class talent. Do you know much about, before we got a couple more callers, do you know much about Cole Caufield? A lot of people are asking your thoughts, if you know anything about him whatsoever. He's coming into to Montreal. They're saying on a 3-year entry-level contract right now, and he's lit it up in the NCAA.
I don't know what college hockey. I watched St. Louis last night, which was sad with Bobby Plager. I played against Bobby, and he is right there. Hey, quick game. And he was a tough guy. I played against him in the American League. He played for Baltimore, and he was a big, tough guy. Sort of like Tony Twist and or Ryan Reeves or somebody like he was really tough. He played for Baltimore. Skipjack. Skipjack. And then see, back in those days, they only carried 5 defensemen, believe it or not. There was only 6 teams, so there was 6. So 6 times 5, 30. There was 30 defensemen could make the National Hockey League. Now there's over 200, which was a difference. And as soon as there's expansion, he went to him and his brother Barkley and Bill went to St. Louis, and he was there 57. That game last night. I know I've given a lot of podcasts away. That game last night, I watched the game, and you see, he was Mr. St. Louis Blues. He was there all the time. He was down in the dressing room and everything. And they must have saw him the night before he had the accident, and he got killed in a car accident. And you can't blame Coach Berube for the night they had. They had the family there, and and that was the worst game St. Louis I think I ever saw them play. They couldn't carry the puck, and I think they were still emotional over I think it's the first time I've ever seen. You see a guy die, and you honor him, but this guy, they saw he was down in the dressing room all the time, and Mr. St. Louis Blues. Boy, was he a tough guy.
Wow, that's I mean, yeah, we talked about it on the show the other day, and it was a terrible loss, even more than St. Louis for hockey. So let's go to a couple more calls here quickly. Let's go to Justin, who's been sitting and would like to talk to Don Cherry and Dale Weise. Justin, welcome to the show. You're on with Don and Dale. Hey, Don and Dale. That's a good name for a show.
Hey.
Oh, Kingston. All right. Kingston. All right. What's up here?
I actually want to ask you, Don. I want to ask you what it was like growing up here when you were younger, where you played hockey, and I just want to get some insight on that. Like, where did you grow up in Kingston?
Well, we're going to do something for the Rotary. The Rotary sponsored all the hockey back then, and we all played till we had a banquet one night. And somebody started to throw the buns at each other, and I don't. But we're going to have. When is that, Tim? Next Wednesday, I think.
31st.
The 31st, and we're going to help the Rotary Club and people tune in. So I loved it. I loved the Kingston. I got told a lot of times on Hockey Night in Canada to lay off the Kingston a little bit. But I wish the Frontenacs the best of luck, and I always go down
Oh,
there,
yeah.
ringers and all that there. And my brother is the scout for them, Richard. He played for the Boston Bruins, and he's the scout for the. So I just think that I down at Kingston. I used to have a place on Wolf Island, but it got too far to go. But I go to Kingston every winter to beat my nephew Steve and that.
I also want to ask you, Don. Someone told me about the rink on Wolf Island, that you had a part in that.
I did have a part in it, and if you Danny Moser.
Yeah.
Danny Moser. Danny Moser owned the. It was almost like something out of corner gas, and we used to go down there, and we used to. It was like a garage, and he asked me one day. He says, Dr. Mary I lived on the Wolf Island, and they said we don't have a rink or anything like that. He said, would you do something for Ducks Unlimited? Would you wear the jacket and all that? I'll hurry this through. And I wore the jacket, and they sold it, and they made $100,000. And yeah, they made $100,000. And they were going to put it to the rink, and they never did anything for the rink for 2 years. And I said, well, look, if you're not going to do it, I wrote to City Council. I said, you're not going to do anything with it. I'll give it to Rose Cherry Home. So they did something, and they got they got the small pipes. The Gagne, one of the brothers, come down there. It's one of the nicest rinks around, isn't it? The ice.
Yeah, it's great. I actually played a tournament, a couple tournaments there before, actually, in net there for like a pickup tournament. It was like a 4-on-4 tournament, and I wore the toque on top of my goalie mask, and it was great. It was
very nice though, eh? And I don't know if they're going to close it in. I hope they don't close it in because
no, it was freezing.
Justin, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming in.
There
you go. The Muller jersey.
And one more thing. That picture there is taken by his brother Todd.
Oh, all right. Go Habs, go.
That's it, man. Thanks, Don.
We got to get that clip right there. Go Habs, go. We're going to put that on loop and have it go out to all the Habs fans with Don Cherry. That's going to make the day. See, you guys should start your own show, Don and Dale.
Oh,
It would do so well, I'm telling you.
Oh, we would. Absolutely.
We'd kill it. Couple more calls, I promise, and then we're gonna, because I know you got a busy schedule, but I know a couple people are dying to talk to you over here. They've been waiting a while. Okay, let's go to Daryl. Daryl, welcome to the show. You're on with Don, and you're on with Dale.
How are you guys?
Good. Daryl, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to get your opinion. I know fighting's up right now in the NHL. Do you think it's because of the ticky-tack little penalties they're calling, and they're getting their frustrations out in other ways?
That has a lot to do with it. You better believe it. But I think it's because they play each other so much. And before you play a guy in November, you wouldn't play him again till February or something like that. Now you play him night after night after night. But I think you have. I think Dale would say that if you call chintzy penalties, they're going to say, "Well, look, I'm going to earn it."
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're playing each other every night, and like Don said, it just you get pissed off at the other team. You get in a playoff series. Essentially, that's what they're doing, and they were doing it for 4 months. And the way guys are playing now, there's no enforcers. It's not as much like heavyweight fighting heavyweight. It's just kind of more emotional fights, which I think is great. I think it's great. It's you're seeing star players fight and everything. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, Dale, I never had anybody on the Bruins that couldn't play. All the tough guys that I had all got 20 goals. I never had a guy sit on the bench, go out there and get that guy. I mean, that's right. Not hockey. And I think if you notice Dale, the way he played, emotional, and that's the way it should be. I never ever had I used to call him Mad Dog sitting on the bench. I mean, every time we'd go in, they'd bring up a guy from the minors to play, because, and I never believed it. I felt sorry for the guy because now he's got to go out there. He's got to fight. Mm-hmm. He had the best scored 20 goals. So, yeah, the fighting's up, and I think there's something in that too. Those chintzy penalties, they call it slash them now. It sure makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Daryl, we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Apologize for the long
Daryl.
wait.
Appreciate it,
guys.
And last but not least, let's go to Roberto. Welcome to the show, Roberto.
Hey, welcome. Thank you. Hey, Grapes, how are you?
Hi, Bert. Good to see you.
I'm from Ottawa, and I used to frequent a little spot off of Center Point. I don't know if you know about it. Beautiful bar. It was fantastic. But there was also another guy, and I'm wondering, because hockey is such a people sport, did you know, or do you have any stories about Brian Kilray?
Oh, gee. How long is the show? No,
as long as you want, Don.
No, I go on and I could tell.
Those two, you and Brian, you know, you did so much for the city. You spent so much time in your places. It was fantastic.
Well, Brian is, I think he still owns a restaurant there, a nice restaurant, and he's the winning coach of junior hockey of all time. I think he's over 2,000 and coach of the year, won the Memorial Cup. And he was, I'll tell you I'll tell you one story, but I could tell you a ton. Three guys came to him and said, Eddie Shore has suspended us, and we haven't played for a month. So anyhow, the whole story. So and Eddie Shore loved Brian Kilray. He really did. He skated just like him, and the whole deal. And he went to Eddie Shore, and he put his job on the line for these other three guys. And that's the kind of guy Brian Kilray was. And I could go on. We prospect game. And so many games about Brian. He's one of the great. And I had at every prospect game. I'll tell you what. They didn't want me to do the prospect game because I was a bad guy and everything. I coached sports, but these are not. And honestly, I get canceled. Do the prospect. I was ready to do the prospect game. Bobby Orr and I, and they canceled us because I was a bad guy. And Brian found out about it, and he said, "Well, I'm not doing it either." That's the kind of guy Brian Kilray was.
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
Awesome story.
Thanks, Grace.
I told that story.
That's an amazing story. I've never heard that.
Awesome.
That's great.
Thanks,
Roberto, thank you so much for coming in. That's a really great story, Tom.
Yeah, I just thought of it now, and they said no. I went, and Brian said no. I said, if Don's not coaching, I'm not coaching.
That is a friend.
Like that guy, Dale.
That's a guy.
Yeah, and he was great on a draw. You couldn't beat him on a draw. He's a big, strong guy. He wasn't that big, but he knew how to take draws.
Okay, a couple more questions for you, and then we're going to let you go. So we're finishing off with.
Dale.
Say it again. Sorry.
I say we're having fun here.
Oh, I'm loving it, Don. Believe me, I'm just in awe. This is.
The comments right now keep saying Don and Dale. The double D is the Don and Dale show.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying Don and Dale, Don and Dale.
Everybody loves double Ds.
We're looking for a contributor to come into Habs tonight. I'm just telling you, Don, Jerry. Oh, there you go. Another one right there. Please do this every week. We'd have people calling up, and it would be great. But so many people want to talk to you, and that's the most important thing, right? So it's all about interaction.
Sure.
So we're keep going down the list over here. So we've talked about Edmonton. We talked about Toronto. We know we can talk about Senators. I mean, they've got a really great future that they look.
They're coming, and the big thing is they got to keep guys. They got to keep the guys. The problem is when they become stars, they leave, and nobody talks. Stone and all this guys. They got to give guys long-term contracts. They can't be chintzy. If they're going to go, they're going to go. And they got a pretty good team now. And Tim, when they were losing a lot of games, I kept saying to J.G. Smith, keep going the way you're going. You keep going the way you're going. You're doing good. You need the goaltending. They got the goaltending now. That's all they needed was a little goaltending. I hate to say it, Murray never lived up to his expectations. And they're winning a lot of games now. And DJ Smith, I remember when he played, he knew what was going on, and he's a good coach. And I think he looks like a player's coach too. You're not going to fool with him.
Yeah, I think so. He seems to have a pretty good relationship with the guys. I always see, when guys get in the media and they talk about, he's a player's coach, but you can really tell they're bullshitting. But I like when guys talk about him, you can really see they're genuine about it, and I like that.
He's a good player, doesn't he?
Yeah, I like it. I think they're going in a really good direction there. I know. I mean, I played against a couple of those guys in the minors a year and a half ago, and I was like, man, I was even telling my dad today, I was like, these guys are going to be some big-time talents, Batherson and Norris. Like, these are big-time players, and they just got to stay patient, A lot of teams try to rush it, and and that's
They
where
get rid of guys, so they got to give them long year. You can't chintz down there. They got if the guys are going to stay, Tate Chuck and guys like that, they're going to have to give them long year contracts.
Yeah, they got to open the wallet
too.
Yeah. What about the Winnipeg Jets?
Well, Paul Maurice has been there for 4,000 years, and he looks good behind the bench. And he pretty good. They were having a tough time. Never panicked. He just kept going. They lost a lot of guys. They got a pretty good goaltender, I have to admit. Goaltender, Buffalo quit, and there's a lot of things happening in that team, and he just kept it calm. And I say it's the coach there, Paul Maurice. He's the guy that keeps everything calm there, because they had an awful lot of things happen there. And I don't mind their GM too. He's doing a good job.
Yeah. Dale, you're in Winnipeg.
I'm in Winnipeg. They got a good team, and again, I think them and Toronto are probably the top teams, I think, right now. I think Montreal can surprise some people late. I'm always hopeful for Montreal, but their forwards are so good. They got some game breakers. Their goaltending is incredible. Their power play is awesome.
That's Scheifele something?
Oh, Scheifele's unreal. He's unreal. Him and Wheeler, the way they play together, you lose a guy like Patrick Laine and it doesn't hurt the team at all. They just kept rolling. So
how's Subban doing out there? You're out there. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's pretty good. I think he's so underrated. When I watched him in the playoffs last year against Toronto, I thought he was unreal. I said, this kid's an absolute stud. And, he's playing with some good players here. I think it was kind of a change when he went from Columbus, where he was kind of the man as their one center. And now he's kind of, he's behind Scheifele and some guys in the power play, which is probably an adjustment for him. But I think he's going to be a horse for them.
So Winnipeg's going to do pretty good. They'll do good. They always do good in the playoffs. They get playoff guys. As long as they got that whole, as long as they got Hellebuck, he wins a lot. He wins them a lot of games.
Oh, he's incredible. He's incredible.
So good. He's so good. Calgary Flames. How do they look?
Well, they started out pretty good under Dale, and they can't score. It's too bad they can't score. They've got a good club. They got a good defense. The goaltender's playing good. But if you're not going to score, you can't win many games. And they seem to lose games 2-1, 3-2, games like that. And I feel sorry. I cheer for Sutter. I think the world of him. But if you can't score goals, you're not going to win. So if they ever, and they've got the goal scorers there, I just don't understand it.
Gotcha. We talked about Edmonton before. So before we finish it up with Montreal, Vancouver Canucks.
Well, Vancouver, I don't know. They got a good coach. I like Green, but I don't know what they don't seem. I don't know what to say about them. They started off pretty good. They got a lot of injuries. That's the main thing. But they're a funny club. They could surprise everybody. They get their goalie hot. They could surprise everybody. I wouldn't want to play. Let me put this. I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. They'd be a funny team in the playoffs. They could turn it on pretty good. That whole division is pretty good now that Ottawa has picked up.
They were unreal in the playoffs last year. That's why I think expectations were so high for them.
Yeah.
And I think Demko, he's a guy, like you said, he could get in the playoffs and he could steal around if that guy gets hot.
And Holtby's, I thought Holtby would play a lot better. And, both of them could book, bing bang, could get hot.
Yep.
Going to the playoffs, I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. They could steal it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And leaving it off over here before we have three last questions, but leaving it off over here, Montreal, how do you see them right now? I mean, in my opinion, they got the best goalie in the world. They got Carey Price. The only bad decision Montreal made was not re-signing Dale this year. That's it. So what do you think about the Habs?
Price was good up until, and then I knew him in prospect game. I had him in the prospect game. He was fantastic, and he was fantastic. But he's got to get back playing the way he did 2 or 3 years ago. And you get a 10-year contract. I mean, he's playing okay. He's not playing great the way he could play. He's got the reputation of the best goaltender. I think he is the best goaltender if he gets it straightened around. Boy, if he goes into the playoffs playing the way he used to play and the way the team got, they're going to be trouble.
I love that you just said that. That made me so happy. I'm the biggest Carey Price believer, and if anybody can flip a switch and put a team on his back, it's him. I've seen it, and that's why I think that's why I think they're the wild card, because he gets on a roll and he starts playing well, and I just think they can be dangerous. I think they can beat anybody they get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and but he's got to get playing the way he did 2 years ago. He's playing okay now, playing good now, not the way Carey Price can play. Because when he plays, I mean, look at him, that Team Canada, he was fantastic. And that's the word for him, is fantastic when he's playing. But he's playing okay now.
Yeah. Well, that's a very good point on that. So before I get to the last question, we've all watched your player profiles. You've had one with, and I look at the player profiles when you have the guys come in studio, you put the Hockey Night in Canada around them. You've got the famous one with Doug Gilmour, the Nazem Kadri. What would you say is the one that you think of the most when you think of Coach's Corner?
That's a good one. Well, I remember the last one was pretty good. No, it's Ron. A lot of guys are on him now. Boy, that's a nice suit. I don't know. I can't. I think when we were in Chicago, and I was in Dale. I don't know whether you watched this or not. And I had a big Canadian flag in the back of me, and I think we were in the Persian War or something like that. And they had the lights going. They had all sparklers. Everybody had a sparkler going, and they sang "God Bless America." And I got in a lot of. Boy, did I get in trouble on that one? And he said, "You don't really." He said, "Just say it wasn't premeditated." I says, "No, I have an 8-foot flag all the time in my back pocket all the time." But that was the one that I remember. One of the ones I remember, and I was really carried away on that one. And there was a lot of them. That was the one I remember, and I remember everybody had a sparkler, and they were singing "God Bless America." Boy, that was beautiful.
Wow,
that old Chicago stadium was. That was really something. That organ they used to have there is fantastic. It really was.
Yeah, not as good as the Montreal Forum, but close. As we show a picture of the Montreal Forum.
Look at that.
It was so steep too, eh?
Yeah, it was. There was a good view everywhere. It was, and it was, and a lot of people don't remember this. The Montreal Forum, and I used to go as a kid when we had season tickets, was right across the street from the Montreal Children's Hospital, and that's why I always found a connection, because I used to go to the hospital quite a bit when I was a kid. For various reasons, I was always that flamboyant guy falling and breaking something, and I would always walk out of that hospital.
You don't 13, say.
Yeah, 13 or 14, looking at the Forum and saying, "One day I want to be a hockey player," and my parents saying, "You're already 14. Yeah, that day's past, buddy." So I have such fond memories of.
You used to go to the Texan too. Remember the Texan used to be there?
Yes.
The restaurant used to be there. It used to be the Texan. Everybody used to go there.
Oh,
it was a restaurant across a little wee place.
I can imagine the stories that you could tell about the Forum going to Montreal. That's another show all to itself. But the last thing that I want to ask you about is, I want you to describe, because there's only one Don Cherry. Describe the best way you possibly can, about a guy like Dale Weise, a guy who is sitting there, worked his tail off, stood up for every single person on the third line, fourth line, didn't matter where you were. The guy who scored, where you said before, where it matters, in the playoffs, in overtime, the clutch guy. I'm doing a good job of describing him, but it's meaningless unless it's coming from you. And I think I would love to hear that, and especially everybody who is fans of this show would love to hear that.
Well, the guy that kept me on was Ralph Mellanby, and he was the executive producer, and they wanted to get rid of me the first month. He said, this guy can't speak English or anything. Imagine that. But anyhow, Ralph Mellanby was the guy that kept me on. And I remember the last show I did, he said, "Don't turn professional." And I remember he slammed his hand down. He said, "Don't turn professional." And if you heard me, I never was professional. But I don't know. I just went on and just did, and I had a lot of fun. I tried to do what guys like Dale and yourself, but Dale would enjoy. I know if he well, and be honest, you get in a lot of trouble, but and a lot of people don't like you, but you have to be honest. And I think I was honest, and I was honest the last day I was. And I still believe to this day, and I should have said it in the past, I still believe that all those fellas over there that died, that were 20 and 23 years old, at least we could buy a puppy. Now, oh boy, this guy's. That's when I was over there at Christmas, and I went over there, and there was a Van Dues. There was a Van Dues, and they were good. They were a great bunch. I remember we had Christmas dinner together.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I mean, I think Dale and I have said it best before. I mean, you've been an advocate for so many things, and especially, vets is I don't think when people think about, vets and supporting vets, they all think Don Cherry throughout the years, right? So,
well, I hope they do, because I had a lot of fun for 40 years, and it was long enough, and it makes me, and I'm glad. Thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no,
and you're the best. You're my type of guy.
Hey,
good.
That means a lot coming from you. I appreciate that.
You should see his face lit up when he was like, Don Cherry.
I thought it was a joke at first, but
no, I'm happy to be here, and Aaron and Dale, thanks for having me on, and I really enjoyed it. And Tim set it up. I don't know how to do this stuff, but Tim set it up, and don't forget to listen to the podcast. We have a lot of fun. You'll probably hear the same thing tomorrow night or tomorrow morning, eh? Yeah, and so we have a lot of fun, and thanks guys for having me on.
Oh, we appreciate it. Like I said, the comments here, people, I think the one thing, and I think Tim will show you this, people are saying that you should start doing a show like this where you can interact with your fans.
Yeah.
I think that would be great. Everybody's saying thank you, come back again, do a show, Don and Dale, the double Ds is what they're calling it. Bravo, love you, Don.
Sure, that'd be my pleasure.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you so much to the one-of-a-kind Don Cherry. Dale, I'll leave it to you. Last comment for Don?
Yes, absolutely, Don. Thank you very much for coming on. I don't know if he has left us now or what.
Oh, no, he's back. He's there.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, no, he's there.
Oh, yeah, just wanted to say thank you, Don, again for coming on. I truly appreciate it. I know from the bottom of my heart and the Weise family here, we've loved you. When I was a kid, we used to get the Rock'em Sock'em taste for Christmas, and that was the best present I always got. So it was a dream of mine to be on be featured on Hockey Night in Canada. I got that with my first NHL game. So I truly appreciate it, Tim. Thank you for making this happen. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
The big thumbs up right there. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Don Cherry. We're going to continue because I think we have a little bit of breaking news right now, Dale. I want your thoughts on this. I can't believe we just had a really amazing conversation with Don Cherry, and we learned so much. See, so the Habs fans, you have to realize the history. He went to Game 7. He did everything you possibly can do when it came down to that. There's going to obviously be a little bit of animosity, but you hear it in his voice, the respect he has for Guy Lafleur going up against the Montreal Canadiens, that team. To hear him know it off by heart this many years later, each line and each person and how many goals they had in the 79. I mean, I'm looking it up online and he's naming it out. You don't not respect a city and a club if you do not. Yeah, I mean, to me that was breathtaking that he had all that still there. Like, wow, he knew the Habs.
Yeah, I think that shows how much admiration he had for that team. Like you said, that long ago, to remember the lineup, remember the stats and everything, it's just incredible. And I think that's what a lot of people didn't get a chance to see or never really took the time to see how big of a fan he really was of the Montreal Canadiens, because there's plenty of info out there where you can listen to him talk about his favorite French players or his favorite Montreal Canadiens. So,
that was amazing, by the way, that he, think about it. He just listed off. We asked a question, your favorite Francophone players, and I wanted that to come out because I wanted people in Montreal to know that, Don Cherry has a love for the French. He does. Absolutely. And then I was worried. I'm like, maybe he doesn't have any. And then all of a sudden, every single one of the people that he talked about the most are all French Canadian, are all from Quebec. that is stuff that people, I really hope that, you know, if it's going to change your mind or not change your mind about Don, that's one thing. But just know that his close circle of friends were all from French Canada. So what does that tell you? You know?
And if people, you know, just to kind of give the background behind that story, these are, you know, we didn't go on before and tell Don what kind of questions we were asking. He came on 5 minutes before. We said our highs, how are you? And you put him on the spot with that question. So I think that's incredible that he could come up with that. And that really shows, like I said, his admiration for Francophone players and the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So breaking news, once again, if you want to, we're going to stick around for a couple more minutes. I know, Dale, you're pretty busy, but when you look that good, we got to keep you on for a couple of minutes. And
Absolutely.
especially, we got breaking news. So right now, if you want to email us very quickly to get on the show right now, please do live@habstonight.com. It should be in the description, live@habstonight.com. And once again, it's in the description. So we're going to get your take on this. The Montreal Canadiens have signed forward Cole Caufield to a 3-year entry-level contract. Now, obviously, he's going to have to go through some sort of quarantine. He's coming in from Wisconsin, I believe. So he's going to, 7 days. So once again, Cole Caufield is one of these elite talents. I mean, he's a small guy. Don't get me wrong, small dude, but he is elite. When you see this guy play and the highlights that is going on, I mean, what do you think right off the bat by hearing that Cole Caufield is now signed, sealed, and delivered to the Montreal Canadiens?
Well, I think a couple things. It's going to be interesting to see where he fits. You know, does he play in Montreal? Does he go to the American League to play some games to get some pro games under his belt? I don't have a ton of knowledge. Obviously, I can watch his highlights on YouTube in college hockey, which is a far cry from the NHL. And I watched him a ton in the World Junior. And, you know, I'm not the type of guy to sit here, you know, we've always talked about, I'm not the type of guy to slander anybody.
Absolutely.
I don't, you know, I don't like putting guys down, and I'm not putting him down by any means. But if I think a guy's going to jump from college and make a huge impact in the NHL right away, I would have liked to seen him dominate the World Junior a little more than what I saw.
Gotcha. A friend of the show, Barb Weise, says
Barb Drager giving us
you're hitting on the ceiling. Stop it, Ma! Stop it.
Barb Drager with the insider here.
She is. She's more of an insider than we are these days. It's crazy.
Yeah, so he's going
to report to Laval.
But
look what that did with Suzuki. You know, he played that whole year, not in Laval, but he played that whole year, or what? No, he played the whole year in the OHL. When Montreal had him, right? His first big year. Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's great that he's starting in the American League. I think that really tempers expectations for him. I don't know. Like I'm just going strictly on my opinion from what I saw in the World Juniors. I don't think he's going to come into the Montreal Canadiens lineup right now and make an impact. I think it'd be much better for him to go play in the American League, play down there. Like I said, kind of get used to the pro game. And then who knows if he absolutely lights it up down there and he does great and you're like, man, we have to give this guy a shot to see what he can do for Montreal. Then I think that's great. But I think it's best for him to start there right now.
Do you think, I mean, he has how many games before that first year of the entry level is gone? It's 6 games, I believe it is.
I think it's 10 NHL games. There's so many rules behind that though. Like there's so much more that goes into it too. So I'm not really sure, but obviously as a player standpoint, you want to get in and burn a year as quick as you can.
I don't know. I don't know if James or Drew Deeks knows that answer to that question. If Drew does, he can give us a thumbs up. I don't know.
I think it's 10.
I think it's 10. Okay.
Yeah.
He says, Drew Deeks is giving the 10 signal with a thumbs up. That's good. A lot of Habs fans are really excited about Cole Caufield, I guess. And you're right. They're seeing highlights, but they're seeing highlights of him playing in college. It's not the same game.
Right.
And I think that's the problem too. A lot of people are going to have expectations of Cole Caufield.
Right.
And if he doesn't meet them day one, you know how fickle that media is and how the fans are. You just don't want them turning on a guy, right?
Exactly, and that's the last thing I would want for this poor kid to come out of college and you put him in the NHL and maybe he plays 3 or 4 games and he doesn't rip it up to people's expectations and all of a sudden the media takes it the other way. So I think it's great. Let him play in Laval. and you can kind of temper the expectations. And then if it's, oh my God, we got to give this guy a chance, then it's easy. Then it's a win-win for everybody. Okay, you bring him up for a game, see what happens. But
well, you were the assistant captain for the Laval Rockets. So what do you do all of a sudden? You know, someone with your career, your history in the league, and all of a sudden you see this, this kid where there's lots of hype build up, and he comes in to the locker room. Like, are you the type of guys? Obviously, you're going to introduce yourself, but what do you say to him? You'd be like, "Hey, I'm the assistant captain." Do you have a conversation with him like that?
Probably not. If I was there, I don't think so. I would treat him like any other guy, and I would obviously the type of guy that I am. I want to make everybody feel comfortable. That's the kind of guy that I was in the locker room, and whatever he needs, it's a quick transition, right? Like you go from playing college, all of a sudden you're a pro, and he's living in the hotel, and I would just kind of be the olive branch, whether the guy needs a ride here or there or something like that. I know that's always important.
Yeah. They want to go from Laval from Brossard. That long drive. Yeah.
And I made that plenty of times, and it was awful. It was awful.
Well, the traffic in Montreal, the issue about the traffic in Montreal, it's more about the construction in Montreal, which causes the traffic in Montreal.
Right, but there's trying to go from Brossard to Laval in the morning, even if there's no traffic, there's just so many people. Like, it would take me 45 minutes just to get onto the Champlain from Brossard.
Oh my gosh.
Which is literally a 5-minute drive, but it would take me 45 minutes.
And you're just sitting there. Did you ever get late to a game or to like a practice because of the traffic?
No, I'm like insane stickler for being late for things, so I'm always early. So I would leave crazy early, but literally on game days, and people are like, "Whoa, you didn't put up very good numbers in Laval." It's like, wow, no shit. Listen to my game day. I drove an hour and 45 minutes to morning skate. I drove an hour 10 home, and then I would be home for like an hour, and then I drive back to the game for another hour and a half. Sometimes, a couple times going to a game, it took me 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about when you were playing at the Bell Center?
Oh, that was excellent. I would leave early at probably about 3:30, and I'd be there about like 4:15, maybe, sometimes earlier, depending on traffic. So that was much better. When I got called up, I was very happy about that.
I can imagine. Does anybody on the team get kind of special treatment in terms of, a little bit of an escort getting down there, a police escort, getting a police escort to the games? Like,
no, actually, though, I got a funny story about kind of Champlain and police. I was driving home.
Okay, tell me.
We flew home. I don't know where the game was, and I was driving home with Max Pacioretty. We lived close together in Brossard, and
Patch is my boy.
Patch, he's having a heck of a year. Let's touch on that in a little bit too. Let's touch on that. We'll touch on that. But we were driving. It was probably like 3 a.m. We got home really late from a flight, and there was nobody on the road, and he was absolutely torching over the Champlain. We were probably going. We were probably going 160 kilometers, maybe 170, just flying. There's nobody on the road, and all of a sudden we get over there, and there's a cop waiting there.
Oh,
and this is benefits of being a Montreal Canadian. So he pulls us over, and he comes over and he's like, license and registration, and I don't know, Patch didn't have his license on him. He's like, I don't.
Even worse.
He goes, I don't have my license, and the cop's like, okay, did you have your registration? He goes, I don't. My wife was something with his wife, didn't put it in. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, let me just go check. And then he went, and he didn't, I don't think he knew who he was at the time. And then his partner came over and was like, is this Max Pacioretty? He's like, yeah. He's like, okay, go ahead, guys. So he let him go. I'm sure he was the captain at that time. So
I thought he was going to open up the glove box and be like, I know my registration, but I have 2 tickets to the game.
He's like, I got a couple home tickets for you, but here you go.
Have you ever? That's got to happen quite a bit. Not like speeding tickets, where I'm sure there are, but I'm sure things happen. You just walk in and be like, hey, Dale Weise, overtime hero. You don't pay for anything. You, your wife, your family, sit down. And you're like, hey guys, this is the La Belle Promesse. It's 50 cents a hot dog. I can afford it, right? So La Belle Promesse. Don't get me wrong, that restaurant is amazing. I love that food. Sorry. My cold poison.
Want to get to that place? Should we go to that place together? Or you sound excited?
Dude.
Maybe we should go there.
I'm born and raised there. The best. Okay, first of all, when you were in Montreal, did you ever eat at Marathon Souvlaki?
Marathon? No.
Oh, Marathon Souvlaki. I give you a shout out right now. Support them if you're in Montreal. The best souvlaki in the city. Oh, just when my wife and I met, we would always go back to Montreal because I'm born and raised, and I'm only moved out when I was 23, 24 to Toronto. But
which part of Montreal was it?
NDG and Côte Saint Luc. So
Okay.
NDG boy, no darn good. That was me back then. But so when my wife and I first started dating, she would come from Toronto to Montreal, and I would take her to all these different restaurants. So, and I knew the moment I fell in love with her is when her and I both sat down. We went to a restaurant called Amazona, and we basically had 2 souvlaki's, Caesar salad, potatoes, beautiful, beautiful dinner. And her and I ate everything off the plate, and I'm like, this is my woman. And she's so tiny. My wife is like, 5'1", like 100 pounds, she was like, this food is so good. I'm like, yes.
That's when you knew, hey, that was the moment.
That was the moment I knew.
Moment.
Oh, I have lots of stories. I'll tell you about that. Let's go to, we have Anthony who's getting into, he's getting into the mix over here. So, okay. So
Perfect.
back to that other story. What other, you got to tell me another story, another interesting story where you, I'm going to say where you did not have to suffer the consequences because someone said, hey, that's Dale Weise.
Yeah, I'm trying to run through a couple. I drive the speed limit. I'm a good stand-up citizen, so I don't really get in trouble like that. So I'm trying to think. But man, I had so many cool moments in Montreal where you're out for a restaurant or something, and someone will send you over a bottle of wine or something in Montreal, or the owner is like, you know what, no, your money's no good here. So man, you play for the Montreal Canadiens, the Montreal city and the fans embrace you so much. It's absolutely insane. You just love it. It's just incredible.
Oh, here we got this burger in Villemard. Villemard is amazing.
Packers are Lemieux Penguins things. Wow, you can't be upset about that.
Lemieux is one of the greatest in the world. I actually got in touch with Lemieux's people to come on the show, and they said love the show, but Mario, he's not doing anything right now because of the. I guess he doesn't want to be seen on a Habs show with the current team right now. Frankfurt.
That's okay. We'll forgive you, Mario.
Yeah, don't worry, Mario. It's not like you had a storied career and one of the greatest to ever play the game, but we'll see. We got Anthony. I think Anthony is getting his stuff ready. He's looking at his computer. I don't know if he's ready. Oh, the light is on, as we can see. The cool thing is we have access to the green room, so we can see what's going on. So once again, we're going to talk about Matt Pacioretty because you had a fun. You want to talk about where he is right now?
I was looking. Yeah, go on. Sorry,
let's talk.
I got so excited.
Don't ever apologize to me. We had Don Cherry on tonight. First time on a Saturday night in a year and a half. That's pretty cool. That out of all the shows, and remember, Habs fans, out of all the shows he could have gone on to, because he had a lot of requests. Out of every single show, he chose to come on to the Montreal Canadiens Habs Tonight program. That should tell you something, because if he didn't like the Habs, he wouldn't have come on to Habs Tonight. Remember that. And that is the ultimate truth. And he was so respectful tonight when it came to the Montreal Canadiens and so gracious about, the line. I mean, to me, that was just amazing. So
he was incredible.
But you guys, I mean, look, Dale, honestly, you look gorgeous.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Barb should come down there right now and just go on the camera and say, look at my boy. She's just got to do like a walk by. I just got to see the Barb walk by. Look at the time, man. I love it.
Barb's working the phones upstairs, trying to get us more inside info here.
Oh, she's
got no time to come down. She's our new insider.
Is he in Laval? What's going on with Cole?
What's happening? Like, is he there? Which hotel is he staying in? Like, is he staying in the one that I stayed in? Was right beside McDonald's? Like, where is she?
Oh, okay. Now we know where Cole's going to be staying. Okay,
it's
good.
Great. I don't know. I want to give that hotel a shout out, but I can't remember what it's called. Right down the street from the rink. It was a beautiful hotel.
Oh, what did Ian say? Don Cherry chose you guys on a Saturday night. I shut the game off. Well, Ian,
great call.
Thank you. You know what? Don Cherry not only chose us, he chose Habs fans. Remember that, okay? So that to me, that is the most amazing thing. He chose fans of the Montreal Canadiens. I'm trying to do my French accent there. No, even though I'm from Montreal, I completely butchered that. Okay, we're gonna go to Anthony Lafleur. Let's see if there's any relation to Monsieur Guy Lafleur. I don't know.
Anthony.
Hi. How's it going?
Look at that hair.
Look at the setup you got going here.
Wow. Oh my. Are you like a Twitch gamer or something?
Oh, Lafleur.
Oh wow. Look at that.
Beautiful.
What is your setup? Seriously, are you a hacker? If you are, we need your help with something.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a hacker.
No. Black out his face, quick.
No. Cut me off.
I just play games. That's what I do.
Hey,
He's getting all
hey.
nervous right now. I
Oh,
just
no.
play Roblox.
Just playing
Super
games.
Minecraft, man.
Well, I play games right now. I can't go outside because my leg is broken. Right now.
Too much hacking. You got to stop, bud.
Nah.
He got upset and slammed his foot on the
Someone
table.
found you.
I had some questions. How is it like to play in Montreal? Like, it looks amazing playing Montreal.
Man, Montreal is I mean, I played in New York, Vancouver, Chicago, Philadelphia. Nothing compares with Montreal. I've said it a million times, man. It's just when you play in the Bell Center, there's just something about it. Every game feels like a playoff game. The fans are great. The city embraces every single player. And even, you know what, they even embrace role players more than anywhere else in the world. They almost embrace them more than skilled players. They just appreciate people that just, you know, they work their ass off. They bring it every night. And man, as a player, there's nothing more you can ask for.
Yeah, I miss what I miss about the Montreal Canadiens was like the 2015 teams. That was like the best.
Oh, you're speaking my language now, buddy.
Like it was the best. I mean,
You know,
except I hate the Rangers just because what they did to Price.
I know.
Well,
And it's did you listen to our Prusty interview?
Yes, well, it was really at the end, but I listened to it.
You didn't hear what? Did you hear what Pruss said that he believed Kreider accidentally on purpose ran Price?
I think he did on purpose. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but the players of the New York Rangers was there at a practice when they at a Canadian practice, and the coach was in the car with Michel Therrien. Talking about the game and everything. I think they cheated, honestly.
Hot take right there by Anthony Lafleur that New York got in there and cheated.
It's cool. Wait till you hear what Plecky has to say. You know, being a longtime Montreal Canadian, and you know, we asked him about which team he thought was the best, and I don't want to give you the answer, but it's obvious which one he picked. So I thought that was really something interesting that he said.
You just gave the answer.
So now you got to listen to it, because that's a big testament. He played on some really, really good teams. And for him to say that was the best team.
Now look at Plecky, all the captains he had, right? So he had Koivu, he had Giunta, Pacioretty, he had Weber, and he had who am I forgetting in that one? No one. Those are the foreign. Like for him to say what he said, and by the way, the full interview is probably going to come out some point at the end of the week next week. But little clips of questions, because we asked everybody, ask Plecky, because once again, this show is completely interactive, right? He answered all the questions that came in, and for those who think that, Anthony, did you see the first clip of what we put out with the turtleneck?
No.
Okay, you got to watch that, because I think it's the first time anybody will ever hear Plecky swear. So it's a pretty interesting thing. He's a very really reserved dude. And but him and Weise, they started smirking and smiling, and all of a sudden some F-bombs were dropped. So it's something you don't expect to hear about from Plecky, which was really funny.
Plecky's a really good player. He started playing before I was born. I mean,
oh my goodness! Good. Wow.
I think, I'm not sure. He got traded for Toronto, right?
Yeah.
I think he stopped playing in the NHL because he was traded. I'm not sure.
No, he came back to Montreal the following year, and then just kind of agreed. He played his 1,000th game, and then kind of agreed to part ways with his contract, and then went home. He's still playing though, actually.
In the Czechs league.
Yeah, he's still playing. They won yesterday in the playoffs. I saw on Instagram he posted. So
yeah, and he scored a beautiful backhander the other day. Like I honest to goodness believe he could still play in the NHL today. He's that good. So he's such a smart player. Put it that way. You know, like if not playing, he could be coaching right now. But then again, Well, I don't know. There's no need for him to come back here right now with all the issues with travel and everything else, right? So,
and his family's there and everything.
yeah, you know what? We all don't want to have an issue dealing with COVID. So that's pretty much it. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. And next time, what game? So what's your game your game of choice on your PC?
Rainbow Six Siege and NHL.
Oh, NHL. Who's your team? Habs or what?
Montreal.
Oh, nice.
Got to be Montreal.
Good, man. Who's your favorite player?
In Montreal right now?
Yeah.
Price. Always been.
Oh, good man. Good man.
I was going to get mad at Cherry when he said Price. He's good, but he's not. Yeah, I was like, no, Don. No, Don.
Come on, Don.
Price is amazing. When I look at him, lights glow. He's amazing. You know what? I cannot wait to get Price on the show because I'll talk a little hockey, but I want to talk to him about traveling when he was younger on an airplane back and forth.
So many good stories.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun, but like for me, there's some stuff that I really want to get to from him and his dad used to travel, like they had their own private plane back and forth. So like that's to me, I was scared of flying up until my 30s, right? So to hear, I want to hear stories of like, there was that incident with the Tampa Bay Lightning where they almost, I don't want to say almost crashed, but like there was a massive issue in the plane. And a lot of players, they were completely freaked out about what happened, right? So, I want to get into that. Oh, anyways, we'll talk in a minute. Anthony, thank you so much, brother. You be safe.
I got one more thing. I got the lunchbox.
Oh, beautiful, Anthony. What do you got in there?
I got this.
Winter clot. That's nice.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
That's gorgeous.
Right.
Send that over. We'll sign it. I'll sign it, but I never played for the team. So it's okay.
All right.
Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it, buddy.
Actually.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Keep tuning in. We really appreciate the support.
Thank you very much. No one wants my signature or anything. Although, funny enough, you can go buy my album, Aaron Amadeus, On the Run. It's a pretty good album. It's
pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's really good.
It's got its hits. So let's go back. So before we get to Drew Deeks, I know he wants to talk a little bit about Cole Caufield. He's got more of the scoop, and maybe we can one day get. You know what? I have an idea. We can do Drew and Barb on a live show one day. Barb will be the host and Drew will be the insider. I think that's a great idea.
That would be really funny.
Because then it'll be like everybody has a show with a Weise, right? Yep. You got Crushing Cans with Brandon and Derek Weise.
Which, if people didn't watch, is incredible.
Amazing. It's so much fun.
So good.
And by the way, we have a WhatsApp group, and I kid you not, there's 1,000 messages that happen all the time. I kid you not. And half of the messages now going back and forth are Derek and Brandon literally opening up cans, taking pictures and drinking for 6 seconds, and then just getting that sound. Derek has taken over the show and over the WhatsApp group with this. It's amazing.
Just, product testing and just making sure they're prepared. I love the dedication.
Absolutely. I mean, you need to drink it. You need to make sure it's all good before you can promote it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Matt, sorry about that. Oh, there you go. Aaron Amadeus.
Oh, okay. Make sure you check it out.
I am one beautiful guy when it comes to looking as a cartoon, right?
Spotify.
That's the whole thing. We didn't want to put a real picture of me because we didn't obviously want to scare people. So we're like, let's, make it. And if you look at really closely my arms, I said, make them look really strong, right? I want to look like a Dale Weise. Yeah. And, they made them look really strong, but that's an artist thing, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
You look so good, Dale.
I feel good.
Just the fact that when we started the show in the green room, Don, we just see him getting, and he's just making fun of his son. I've only been down here twice, Tim. All the rock and he's just sitting down in his suit. I'm like, man, he's really dressed up for this. I mean, and he wore red for the Habs. I mean, come on, man.
I didn't think he was going to have the suit on. My dad asked me, "Because you think he'll have a suit on?" I was like, "No, Dad, he's not going to have a suit on. He's going to be casual." Sure enough, my dad is right.
And he wore red. He's respecting the CH. I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, let's go to Drew Deeks, and then we're going to talk very quickly about Patch, and we're going to talk about his stats going on. Drew Deeks, what's up, buddy?
Deeksy.
What's up, bros?
Yo.
I actually unmuted the mic this time. So that's
right. Perfect.
Yeah, you popped up in the beginning with Don. I was like, what's going on?
I was excited.
Did I actually?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was scary. I did not mean to.
Hey, don't worry. How was Don Cherry? By the way, his son's like only 40 minutes. I think we could have let it go for like another hour. I think Don loved having the people calling up and calling in. He's like, I miss this. I want to, and now he's going to be like, I like this whole Caufield and these Montreal Canadiens. Do you think he's going to talk about us on the podcast tomorrow?
I hope so. I think so. I think he had a good time. I think he enjoyed it.
Right? Like that's what it sounded like. He wants to come back on. So that's huge.
I was taken away, and the amount of times he talked about Dale. Every question, Dale, I loved it because he's like, oh, well, whatever, Aaron, I could care less. But Dale Weise, like,
I was like taken back by it. I was like, you just keep talking, Don. You're absolutely killing it. Don't worry about my opinion. You just keep going, man. You're killing it.
That's the best part. Is like Dale Weise is a guy who's played 500 plus games in the NHL, and he's just the biggest fan out of everybody on this. Like that was the best part.
It's crazy. Like that's why he was like so good, as he was so passionate about the players, and he would always talk about their hometowns and give these like crazy background stories that no one knew. I love that part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I miss it too. You know, he really did promote the military, and he cared, you know, and it is what it is. No matter what happened, it happened. We're not going to talk about it. We're not a political show at all. We talk hockey. That's it. But you know what? Some people miss him. Some people don't. I enjoyed him. Some people don't. And that's everybody's prerogative. Right? But like, you know what? We had a fun time. That's all that matters tonight. And he enjoyed it.
And that's why we should pop up in the suit. I was like, the fact that they both wore the suits, like just not even planned.
Yeah,
unplanned too.
Unbelievable.
I look okay. I mean, come on. I mean,
Aaron, you look good. You just come on.
Can I tell you something? So if we look in the chat, I'm going to try to find this. I don't know if I can. All of a sudden, I see a message come in from a very special girl. And if I can find it, I don't know. There's so many people.
Was it your daughter? Because she definitely
was it. Okay, that's what I thought.
There was an Avery Thomas that.
Yes, I saw it.
And that is.
I saw you smirk a little bit. I'm like, yeah, he saw that comment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where it is. Oh, there's so many comments here.
She commented. I think. Where can I find it?
Where is it? I'm looking right now. Oh my goodness, so many comments.
She had a couple. I think she had 2 or 3.
Oh, did she?
I think so.
Okay.
Avery, if you're still watching, get on the chat here.
Yeah. If she's still watching, we're going to have a conversation because it's way past your bedtime, kiddo.
She was proud of dad, though.
She's Hockey Night in Canada, Don Cherry, Saturday night.
Like, I know. She's 8 years old. So
we recreated Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah.
She's a little quarantined right now, so can't really do much. But that's needless for here to say. That's for other reasons. So
the Thomas family's healthy. That's the main thing, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Good, so. Absolutely. But she's tonight was going to be her night where she can have her first sleepover with her friend was going to sleep over at the house. She was so excited. A little 8-year-old girl, so excited to have her sleepover, and then obviously something happened, like nothing to do with us, something in a school, right? So everybody's got to make sure that you take is abundantly precautions. Funny enough, Habs show stuff that's happening to the Habs, all the friends and family around them, very similar to what's happening to us right now too. Mm-hmm. But you just felt so bad. So I'm happy that she was able to watch it, because she's always like, Daddy, can I come on the show? And I'm like, sure, but you don't know much. She's a wrestling fanatic, by the way.
Perfect.
Oh, there you go.
So I think our kids will get along, and we can have a show with the kids talking that. No one wants to hear me yakking about my family, but I love her. So once again, if you guys want to get in the mix, or ladies want to get in the mix, email us, get on the show live at habstonight.com. Live at habstonight.com should be in the description. We'll come on. You want to talk anything with NHL great, the Dutch Gretzky. And by the way, we are going to have merch. I promise. We keep having these conversations with Steffi and Nick to get our merch done. All we need to do is put a logo on top of a few things, and it will be available. And soon, starting hopefully next week, our super chat function will be up. A whole bunch of other stuff will be up. And if you're interested in advertising on our show, you'll be able to get in touch with us. A whole new level of where we're going and what we're doing. But I digress. I will stop right now. Drew Deeks, we have a big story. Cole Caufield signs a 3-year deal. We heard a couple of takes from the great Dutch over here about Cole. What say you, my friend?
Well, it's probably easy for me as a fan, because we're all just like begging to see what this kid can do. Because if you have followed him the last little while, I mean, there is some hype to, like, there's a lot of hype around him. That's just a fact, but you don't want to overhype somebody too soon. Like, you've seen guys come, get into the league too quickly and they're not ready and that kind of stuff. But a lot of folks seem to think that the hype around him is real. Obviously his stature, he's 5'7". That's the biggest story you're ever going to hear about him he's heard it his whole life. He's 5'7". But you look at Alex DeBrincat and what he's doing with the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's been his role model. And he put up a 40-goal season, I think maybe back-to-back 40-goal seasons in the NHL. So you've got at least a success story so far with a guy his size. But him signing today is interesting. I mean, we all heard what Burge had to say the other day about how no trades were likely to happen. Then all of a sudden Stalzy comes. Now Caufield's coming. It's like, I just see Weise shaking his head like, but he did. I will say this.
I was like, I live that where Burge told me one thing and something else happened.
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
From a fan's perspective, it's a lot easier to say like, oh, we're happy that he's doing this stuff. But today actually in his press conference, he did say, I really can't tell you everything that the Montreal Canadiens are doing. It would be a disservice to them if I just stood in front of a camera and told you everything that's going on. So I thought that was probably true, but how do you handle the media, right? This is going to be a whole other episode with Weise and yourself, Aaron, going forward. So maybe you guys
and Chris Pronger. That's this Wednesday, by the way.
Yes,
or to say this upcoming Wednesday, Chris Pronger joins Dale Weise, the two former Flyers greats, and we are going to talk about the media. And this is going to be a bombshell episode because I can't wait to hear what's going on, because there was an article that came out. I believe Nick Kiprios talked about this on his show. And he said that there is rumors going around that there's an issue right now with the Philadelphia Flyers, their top heavy leadership, and the young guys. And they want to get Carter Hart. I love that guy, Carter Hart. First of all, Carter Hart. Great goalie.
Carter Hart. It sounds like
Carter Hart. This guy's got a lot of talent. He could be, in my opinion, the next Pricey. I mean, you played against him, obviously, Dale, in the bubble, and you obviously know him because you played with Philly. But he's a talented kid, and they are saying right now, get him out of that toxic environment in Philly. And I cannot wait to talk about that next week, because what do you do in that situation? Do you pull him out and say, you know what, we're gonna clean up in house because something's got to give?
Well, I signed there in 2016. We're in 2021. It was toxic then. It's toxic now. So, we'll save that one for another episode. I'll give you my opinion on that. But I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. I think they had a really good run at the end of would have been 2020 last year before it shut down. They got on fire. I think they won 9 in a row there. Then they got into the bubble. Played great in a tournament where, anybody could have got on a run and got hot there. It was just, it was weird circumstances. So as for what you do with them, there's nothing you can do. You have an older team. You have a lot of guys making a lot of money there. You're trying to win. That's not a rebuilding team. So you got to stay in there. You got to stay in the fire, kid. Like, I think he's a great goaltender. I think, I was talking about this with my brother the other day. This is going to make him better down the road. He came in, was absolutely lights out from the time he came into the league. He hasn't had a lot of adversity yet. This is perfect for him. This is great. He's a really good kid. Really takes the mental side of the game really serious. Just see all the superstitions he has with shooting the water in the air and watching with his eyes. He's got a ton of mental stuff that he does that is just insane off ice. But he's a really good kid. He cares a lot, and I think this is only going to help him.
That reminds me of Carey Price too, and what he went through. Remember in the beginning with the whole thing with Black, like.
Yep.
He faced kind of the worst of it in 2009. Price did. I mean, like you heard him say recently, like it doesn't matter anymore. People think like he's over that. He's over that. So Carter Hart, I think, even mentioned that Price was a role model for him and a big one. Actually, he played against him in his first NHL game, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but man, like he's got a future ahead of him too. Another Canadian kid that could do well. So you're right, Weise. I think that going through the adversity now is a good thing for him.
Absolutely. I think there's a really good comparison. Like I literally think when everybody makes the Carey Price comparison, but when you say that about the way his career ran along, I think that's perfect. That's exactly what he's going through right now. I don't think they have that great of a hockey club. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know what Chuck Fletcher's going to do. He's a pretty aggressive GM. He's going to make some moves, but I don't think they make the playoffs. And I think their team's going to struggle for a couple of years unless they can really, really unload a couple of guys, which I don't know is possible. So they're going to struggle there for a little bit. But, I think when you have a backstone like that, he's still so young, he's going to have an incredible career.
What's the biggest issue with Philly right now? That you said it's the culture, or you're going to get into another time? I don't want to, get too. And I'm sure it's a deeper subject.
You're not reading the subject here, which is why I was laughing. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Stupid cow and drinking game. Take a drink whenever Stu asks a question on anything but hockey.
I had to. Sorry.
Hard to ignore that.
Yeah, save that one for Wednesday when me and Prongs can talk about media. There's just Philly. You know what? I went there, and the first thing I told anyone that was in my close circle that I discussed a lot of things about before I got on Habs Tonight and tell you guys all my secrets. There was something different. I went from a Montreal team that was a really, really, really good team. Then I went to Chicago, who just won 2 cups in the last 4 years, sorry. I just saw really, really good teams and good cultures and good leadership. And then I went to Philly and I said, holy smokes, things are backwards here. So we can dive into that one a little deeper later, but that's I could feel it right away that there was something wrong here.
That's going to be a great episode. I cannot wait. And I think Pronger is going to be the guy, because I think under Pronger, they went to the Cup Finals. They were, I think he was the guy in charge. And I just cannot wait to talk to Chris Pronger about that because, I
want to hear him talk about the Philly-Montreal conference final in 2010. Like that was
right.
the year they went, right? So,
yep.
Oh man, that was such a fun playoff run. Like 2014 and 2010 to me were the 2 most fun playoff runs in recent history. Like 2010 it shouldn't have happened. Like Halak just showed up out of nowhere, started playing on fire. 2014, like we had a bit of a sense, okay, we sweep Tampa, and then we went into Boston. Obviously was an upset, but my gosh, those 2 playoff runs. I want to hear Pronger's side of getting to the Cup final. He did win a Stanley Cup too. He's won it all, but I would love to hear his perspective on that Montreal series because Montreal just kind of ran out of gas in that one against Philly, but they were so close to the Cup. Philly was.
Yeah, I want to get Alyssa Hope on. By the way, she's one of our. She released a video today on our YouTube page, and it was an introduction to Alyssa Hope, who's now a proud contributor to our program. And by the way, if you're interested in contributing to the show, like I said, right now we're good, but we are always looking for people who want to just produce content and be a part of a winning team and a winning culture with what we're doing. And you can always email us at show@habstonight.com. It doesn't have to just be Habs. That's the one thing we want to get across. James Black made an amazing comment today where Habs Tonight is about hockey and it's about out of character, right? You think of a hockey player, they're always answering questions like yes, no. We want to get that hockey player out of character and explain certain things. And just because it's Habs Tonight, it's because that's where, Dale's favorite team was. But we talk everything, every team. We know that Alyssa, her favorite team is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Cannot wait to have a Pens post-game show. There's so much stuff. So if you want to contribute, all you have to do is send us a message at show@habstonight.com, and we'll love to look at your stuff and see what we can do. And we'll go from there.
Weise, were you going to touch on Patch a little bit more on how the season he's having?
Yeah, I wanted to. I wanted to talk about it. I just think he just continues to score goals. I think when he got traded from Montreal, how many years was that? 3 years ago now?
2018.
Yeah. So 3 years. I mean,
almost 3 years, yeah.
Everyone thought he was declining at that time, and I feel like his career is just he's climbing. He's getting better with age. He's always a guy to me that was in incredible physical shape and really took training and his lifestyle very, very serious. He was a guy, every Sunday would be a day off almost. We played on Saturdays mostly, and he would be at the rink on Sundays, like treatment and cold tubs, ice tub, sauna, a guy that just really took care of himself. So I love him as a guy, and I loved him as a team, and I'm really, really happy to see him doing so well.
Well, that's a fair point. Somebody asked if Pronger won the Norris. Yes, he did, by the way, in the year 2000. That's
and the heart.
And the heart, yeah. With Patch, yeah. With Patch, Dale, do you think that just given the situation in Vegas, it couldn't have been a more fresh start, could it? Because the team was not even 2 years old, and they had such huge success in their first season going to the Stanley Cup. And then you had guys like Pacioretty, you had Mark Stone, who's now the captain. Like, that's got to be a fun team to be on right now, man.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And he was, a guy who probably didn't expect to get moved when I was playing with him. I think he saw himself being a Montreal Canadian for a long time, built a house in Montreal, and then he moved to Westmount, like was living there in the summers. He was really embracing himself in the city. So, to get that start, I don't think he was too happy about it at first, but, I think he's happy. He lives in Vegas now. I see his family on Instagram all the time. It looks like he's living a pretty good life.
It seems funny to think that a lot of players have now said that there's like suburbs in Vegas that are like, you don't think of Vegas as a place to raise a family.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But where their practice rink is, it's in the area is incredible. It's like maybe 25 minutes from downtown Strip, and the area is amazing. It's beautiful.
Man.
Trying to tree out over here about the Cole Caufield signing and seeing what we can do. Yeah, so this is sorry if I'm not paying attention over here. You guys can keep talking.
No.
I want to get people to join the show and talk to us about Cole Caufield and some of the thoughts over here.
Sure.
So you guys keep going for a couple seconds. Sorry.
Well, just with Cole, like I know, and Weise, you made a good point about Caufield earlier, how, you don't want to, like we were kind of saying, you don't want to bring him in too soon. And I did watch him in the World Juniors as well. And I think that I expected more. I think the fans did too. So, but is that tournament really the best gauge for players? Like I know some guys really stand out, but is it the best tournament to really gauge how good they are?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, because I've seen so many guys that were kind of underwhelming at the World Juniors, and then they come in the NHL and they're like, bang, they're superstars right away, which always blows my mind. I think, that's kind of like the epitome of junior hockey. You have the best players in the world playing on the biggest stage with the most pressure. You would want to see a guy really succeed there, and you think, okay, because it definitely doesn't get any easier when you jump into the NHL, and now you're jumping in to the end of the season. Guys are in prime form. You're battling for playoff spots. Guys are battling for. It's just it's a really big step. It's not like you're starting in training camp and everybody's kind of starting from the same place. It's a huge adjustment to go from college to the NHL. I think it's a great time for small guys. It has been the last couple of years to come in, play your game. It's not as physical. It doesn't really matter that he's small and he's slight anymore. The game's not physical anymore. There's still puck battles. You're still going against bigger, stronger guys, but the game's not that physical. It's wide open. It's perfect for guys that are his stature, and it's made for it if he can come in and play that way. It's just, for me, I hate doing it. I personally just didn't think very much of his World Juniors.
Yeah, I don't think he had a good World Juniors, and that's the honest truth. And a lot of people said they didn't have he didn't stand out. That's all I can say.
Right. I mean, he scored goals. You saw him score goals, and he's an elite goal scorer. He's a pure goal scorer. But I just didn't see a lot of other things. And when I watched him get in battles and stuff, and these are junior guys, like it's a huge step to go battle in the NHL. Guys are so strong, and you're already a slight guy. And man, I wish nothing but the best for the kid. Believe me, I'm a Canadiens fan. I hope the kid comes in and lights it up, and they call him up right away to the NHL and he lights it up. I want nothing more than that. I just really don't want anybody, not that people are taking our opinion as the end all be all, but I don't want expectations too high. I love the way they're bringing him to the American League, see what he can do, and go from there.
Does the future of the game? Oh, sorry, Andrew, you want to go ahead?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, once the physical side of the game, once he's kind of got a grasp on that, and he figures out how to, just play his game and get himself opportunities to score and all that kind of stuff. Does the future of the game favor a guy like that? The way he's going to play with speed, skill?
Yeah, absolutely. It's for him. He's got to figure out chances where he's going to have to get it open a little more. Like, he's not going to be the guy getting in on the forecheck winning battles. That's not his game. He didn't do it in college. He's not going to do it in the NHL. He's a goal scorer. So he has to play with guys that are going to get him the puck in scoring positions. That's going to be key. You're not going to throw a guy on a fourth line. I'm not going to say who he's going to play with, but you're not going to throw him on the fourth line and have him go out and play 8 minutes. That's not going to help anybody. But he's going to have to change his game a little bit, where he's going to have to find some more space in getting scoring areas, because a lot of the offense in the NHL is generated from, puck control down low. And there is a lot of goals that are scored on the rush. You look at the elite guys, McDavid and Matthews, and these guys are scoring on the rush, and they're scoring from way out. So, it'll be a little adjustment for him for sure.
I think if he goes and lights up Laval, like right away, then okay. Like they'll bring him up sooner than later, but otherwise no rush. Aaron,
right. And so just to touch on that one too, it's the American League is a completely different game from the NHL too. So even if he doesn't go to the American League and light it up right away, that doesn't mean he's not going to be a superstar in the NHL, because the American League, obviously you're not playing with as good of players, and it's a completely different game down there. I'm telling you, like when I went down to the minors in 2019, I couldn't believe the league. It's just, I was in the NHL for 10 years, and then you go there and it's just mind blowing. It's a completely different game. It's way easier to play in the NHL, I think, as a skilled guy than trying to be a skilled guy in the American Hockey League. So I wouldn't even put too much stock into what he does in the American League.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and this is the issue. I mean, there were so many expectations on Ryan Poehling. He came in, he had that last game with Bob Cole. He had those four. He had the hat trick, and then he had the other goal. I mean, in the shootout, everybody was talking about him. And then, I don't want to say he took a step back, because he's this young kid. He hasn't taken that step forward. He just had a really great game against a Toronto team that was heading into the playoffs. Montreal wasn't. Very different type of scenario. I don't want to see Cole Caufield going through the exact same thing. And then you have all these fans. You know what? Ryan Poehling, he could be a superstar in the NHL in 4 or 5 years. You just have to develop anything correctly, right? So I don't want them making the same mistake that they did, where they put all these expectations on a guy, player, and then, they're never able to live up to them, because you put them in a position. Listen, when it comes to work, I believe that the team that I have, I give everybody a chance to succeed. If they don't succeed, it's on me as the leader, right? But I don't ever want to put anybody in a position to fail. And I believe that the Montreal Canadiens and the management put Ryan Poehling in a position to fail, because just because everybody on Twitter says this guy is going to be the next big thing, you don't have to listen to people on Twitter, okay? You don't. And that's what happened, and they threw him in there. He did amazing things. The next year, they started him up. He was struggling. You know what, folks? He wasn't struggling. He was just this 19-year-old kid who needed to be in Laval and play that kind of whole year. And he just, to me, so I get angry when I see stuff like that. Now, is Cole Caufield better than that? Who knows? Is he going to have more of an opportunity with a better center? Is he going to have more of an opportunity because he's not a center, not as much responsibility? Who knows? You just don't want to set these people up, or any of these guys up, players, to not succeed at their job. That's just my thought, right?
The Poehling thing really kind of disappointed me. So the kid comes in like the greatest debut of all time. Then you bring him back the next year, and I went down to the minors with him, and I'm going to be honest, he wasn't playing well for the first month. I think, I don't know if he had expectations of playing in the NHL. I'm sure he did when you finished the way you did, and he wasn't playing well. And then they called him up, and guess what happened when he was in the NHL? He didn't play well. Well, what do you expect? The guy wasn't playing well in the AHL. You bring him up to the NHL, it's even harder. And you're barely, you're playing him 10 minutes. Like, what is the kid supposed to do? And then he sits on the bench a little bit, and then you send him back to the American League. And then he starts to play half decent. He's getting better. And then you call him up for 20 games in the NHL sitting on the fourth line, and he doesn't play well. It's like, well, what do you expect? What kind of situation are you putting the kid in? Like, instead of letting him play in the minors for 20 minutes and really finding his game, you could call up a guy like myself that'll play 4 minutes a night, be perfectly comfortable with it, and he'll be good at it. Instead, you just ruin the kid. And I'm so glad to see he's doing so well in the American League this year, because you're leaving him there. Let him play. He's finally starting to get some confidence. I'm so glad that they left him there. They brought him to the bubble in the summer. He didn't even play a game. Like,
you're ruining the confidence. Like, it's just,
you're just crushing a young kid. It's just a horrible way to handle a prospect.
And I remember Ray Ferraro talking about some really good players don't do well in the minors, and it's not because they don't care or anything like that. It's just because, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm not, my game levels, these guys play a different way.
You're not playing with that many good players down there. There's not that many good players down there,
right? Like, in the NHL, you're getting those crisp passes, those from Desharnais, from any of those guys. You're getting those passes, and you go to the AHL, and it's just not the same thing. So people just don't care. It's like, well, whatever, I'll stay here till they give me the opportunity. But that's a different story from someone who has experience versus someone who you're developing, right?
Exactly.
Very
Well,
different.
that's why it
story.
must have been so hard for Dale to go down to play with the Rocket. You touched on that interview with us last year, Dale. How it's just you were straight NHL for all that time. Like mentally, on a guy like yourself, that must have been way harder to have to go down and play with guys that maybe weren't as skilled, like you said.
Oh, it was
look
awful.
Look at Sportsnet over here. It's good.
It was awful, man. It was. I don't want to say it was one of the worst times I've had playing hockey, but I don't know if I could find a worse time, man. Like I touched on it earlier in the show, I was driving 2 hours a day to get to games and morning skates, which was a terrible setup. And then I went down there thinking, okay, like I can still play in the NHL and be a really good player. Like I don't want to be here very long, so I want to play.
Right.
And I'm looking at the timesheets at the end of the night. I'm playing the least amount of minutes 5-on-5 of forwards. I'm 12th in minutes played, and I'm like looking at the coach saying, how am I supposed to get back to the NHL when I'm playing this little? Like, I understand you have a job, it's a development league, but like, that's what was so frustrating for me, because I knew I could play on, 31 NHL teams, and here I am in the minors playing 10 minutes a night. And it's like, okay,
BS,
this is ending my career here. This is ridiculous.
Once again, putting you in a position not to succeed, to fail. Right.
Yeah. And I what I understand, that's the way that the minors works, is you're a development league, but it's like, man, come on. Like, it was just so frustrating.
How can you develop if you don't have the chance to touch a puck?
I was so mentally beat up. It was awful. It was a tough time.
Yeah. We're going to get Alyssa Hopen, so I'm going to add her to the stream. She's probably, getting back from the washroom. No. Oh, there you go. She's back.
Like right in time. That was perfect.
Yeah, right
what?
in time.
Don't tell anybody, Aaron. So for those who don't know, Alyssa Hope is the newest contributor in addition to Habs Tonight. She's a huge Penguins fan. So she told me before she came onto the show, Dale, that when she used to watch you in Philly, she had a picture of you and she used to throw darts at you because she didn't like.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Not true.
I actually played really good against Pittsburgh when I was in Philly. They were like my favorite team to play against.
Yeah. Did you score against the did you score any goals against Flower?
No, he was not there when I was in Philly.
Oh, Murray.
Yeah, Murray and DeSmith, and they had one other guy.
Ha ha, Alyssa.
Okay, so Murray and DeSmith, that's fine, but yeah, not Flower. At least he didn't score against Flowers.
No, I don't think I got one on him.
I love Flower. How can you not like that? That guy's smile is just contagious.
Right?
Yeah.
Such a good person.
I just want him on the show just to smile and be like, don't talk, just smile.
Just mute him.
Like,
just keep his.
Yeah. Be like, you had a terrible game.
Huge prankster. You got to watch that guy.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah. So Alyssa, welcome. She did a great video on the YouTube channel, which talks about why she likes hockey and what made her get into YouTube and that type of environment. So check it out. It's pretty epic here. So why don't I do you want to keep the four of us on and keep talking, or do you want let's keep the four of us on over here. So we're talking. So what do you know in terms of Cole Caufield? Do you know anything at all, or is it more of a
me?
Yeah.
Well, I know he played obviously like in the World Juniors. He was on Team USA. I did recently a video, I don't know if you all saw it, about Trevor Zegras, and I like to learn about players, and I think people do too, kind of, outside of just the game, where they came from and certain facts and stuff, and I've been doing this series forever. But while I was doing that series, or that video on Zegras, I learned a little bit about Caufield too, because apparently they have like this bromance, and they were doing these weird like pre-game rituals like before the games in the World Juniors. So I learned like a little bit more about him. Obviously I'm going to be learning more being on here about him, because obviously he just signed, and that's huge news for y'all. So yeah.
Y'all means us. By the way, I gotta say something first and foremost, as my wife reminded me to do so. Deborah, I love you. I am so I'm Jewish, and I just want to wish everybody a very happy Passover right now. And you know what? If you're enjoying your Passover, unlike me, who I kind of broke the don't eat the bread type of thing, I apologize. I'm still a good person, I promise. But I'd like to really. My wife hasn't broken anything. She's awesome. But I totally, I don't follow anything, but I'm not a good role model for that. But but just a happy Passover to all of our fans and people watching all around the world who of the Jewish faith, and happy Easter coming up too, which is great. Sorry to interrupt. Okay, we're talking here. So you have an absolute as a Penguins fan. do you recall watching and seeing Dale play in any of those really hard-fought games? Because I know, Dale, you were involved in a couple of fights, I think, or really some heated moments with the Penguins.
You want to go ahead, Dale? Or?
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't think did I have any fights against Pittsburgh? I don't know. I don't know if I had any fights against Pittsburgh.
I thought you cross-checked Crosby in the head. No,
I probably.
No. I would have remembered that one.
I probably cross-checked him. I wouldn't cross-check him in the head.
I would have remembered it.
Well, okay, so what is it like playing against Crosby?
Well, I'm a huge Sidney Crosby fan, so it's awesome every time you play him. Every time you play him, he's you know what, when you can watch Connor McDavid and he's so electric offensively, but Sidney Crosby has done it so long at both ends of the ice. When you watch Sidney Crosby play, okay, he doesn't have the flash that McDavid does now, but watch him play all over the ice. He is one of the strongest guys in the league on his stick. When you get in a puck battle with this guy, it's incredible how strong he is, and he can just beat you in so many ways. So playing against him is so cool. I'm a huge Sidney Crosby fan.
So if you had the choice, and sorry to interrupt anybody else, if you had the choice of building a team and both in their prime, and I know this is going to get a lot, and this is actually a great Twitter question. Twitter is great Twitter question. In their prime, you can build a team around A or B, Crosby or McDavid.
Yeah, I'm taking Crosby.
Crosby.
I honestly wouldn't. I wouldn't think twice about it. To be honest, I'm trying to win a Stanley Cup. Yeah, I agree. If I'm trying to win, I'm if I'm trying to win a scoring race, I'm picking Connor McDavid. But if I'm trying to win a Stanley Cup, I don't know how you can argue against Sidney Crosby. I just think he makes players around him better, and he's proven it. So.
Yeah, like I was looking forward to talking to Alyssa about this because I mean we know like she loves the Penguins and Crosby with her whole heart, which is great. But when you watched him since the beginning of his career, which a lot of us have, like it was a couple of years ago, my father-in-law was like, Connor can't tie Crosby's skates right now. Like it's just there's such a big comparison. There's such a and no disrespect to Connor McDavid, I know he's the best in the league right now, but if you just look at what Sid's done, I think I said this to Alyssa in the chat, just Crosby's overall game, like Dale mentioned, just every little detail. He's got tree trunks for legs. Like the guy's harder to move off the puck maybe than anybody in the game, at least in recent memory. And just everything he's done from A to Z as a winner, 3 Stanley Cups, Team Canada, World Juniors, like MVP awards, like you can go down the list, and they have to insulate McDavid and Draisaitl a heck of a lot more before he has a real chance to really be in that conversation to be the greatest, because Crosby is winning that race right now, at least out of the two.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you know John Scott very well, Dale, but I was listening to a little bit of his podcast. He has a podcast now, and they were saying that they thought that McDavid could already be the second best player in the world, and I was like, I just got to turn this off. Like I just can't do it. Like
John Scott lost me when he was Aaron. Who was it? It was Erik Karlsson. When I saw that he started chirping Erik Karlsson, he kind of lost me there. I don't know, that's not what I'm about.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, it's funny enough. I was trying to get John Scott on the show, and listen, he's a good dude. John Scott's a nice guy. But when that clip came out, I agree with you. I was just like, maybe not the best. Hey, people could say that about us now, about some of our guests, but like,
right.
But that's the guest. John Scott is the talent, right? It's like Dale is the talent, and like I wouldn't want to do a show with Dale if Dale was going to be, crapping on players the whole time, and that wouldn't. It just wouldn't be fun.
Everybody
right?
does it, right? Like it's just that's the whole thing about this, right? Like that's the whole purpose
we're not
of the show.
But
right.
We're not like clickbait for people who want to hear us, trash talk certain players. If a guest wants to come on and say their spiel, like for example, Prusty came on, he talked about everything. But you know what the truth is? Just letting everybody know this. Dale, myself, we had no questions. It was just a conversation, and that's why we love doing this show. It's a conversation, and whatever happens in that conversation happens, and it goes to where it has to go. Prusty went there. We had nothing planned for any of the stuff Prust talked about. Like, other than if he talks about it, we'll show a clip of this, because these are the things. But I never asked him any. It was just a reaction to what he said. That was it. Dale knows this, and I know this. The whole team knows this. But I don't know, to go out of your way like Scott did on Erik Karlsson. I don't know. I mean, it was uncalled for.
It's so easy to come up with a hot take, though. Like, everybody can do it. My 9-year-old nephew can come up with a hot take. Like, anybody can do it. So when you have a perspective that at least has a respect for them and everything they've accomplished first, like, just that's what's missing, right? I mean, everybody just wants the hot take, the clickbait. Right. You know, we can be honest, like Dale has said, like Aaron, like you've said, you can be honest about what you think about a player. Right. We've talked at length about the struggles Carey Price had, but, you know, don't rip him apart because, you know, he's making all this money. They're still human beings at the end of the day. And if you were in their shoes, you would understand better that they're still human beings. That's what we got to be very clear about.
Yeah. Got a question here from Randy to Alyssa. I don't know if there's any Kleenex, because this made everybody feel pretty good. Actually, it's a double-edged sword question here.
Double-edged. Yeah. Bittersweet, maybe. Bittersweet. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life.
The question is for Alyssa. Come on, Canadian boy.
I'm muting my mic. I'm muting my mic. Sorry.
I remember, always remember that goal. And, you know,
she was 6 years old.
No, I was watching, and, you know, it's so crazy because, like, I don't know, like, as much as I love hockey, like, I mean, obviously, like, I'm always going to be Team USA, right? I love Team USA. I have to. But at that moment, I don't know, like, I felt kind of sort of Canadian because, like, how much I love Crosby and, like, just seeing, like, him being so happy and, like, scoring that unbelievable goal that, I mean, it'll go down as being one of the best goals in, like, Canadian history. So seeing that, I mean, honestly, some people might hate on me, but I was happy. I was like, oh my gosh, like, my boy scored. Like, I don't care. Like, it is what it is. So, you know, if Iggy scored it or somebody else, I would have been like, yeah, you know.
Yeah. That's what Patty says right over here. Iggy doesn't get enough credit.
Iggy.
Oh, yeah, that's the
it's so
we got to get him on the show. I'm going to try to get Jerome on the show.
Yeah. Let's ask about how he was flexing on the bench in the Boston.
Yeah, let's ask about that one.
Let's talk about that one. See what he has to say.
Did you guys have beef when you were playing?
Oh yeah. Him and he was one of the flexing guys on the bench.
Oh, so was he nice though? Because he seems like he would be like,
no, he was not nice to play games.
No, but when the series is over,
he was not a nice guy to play games.
Really?
No,
maybe off the ice, maybe, right?
He's probably a great guy off the ice, 100%. He's probably he looks like the nicest human being.
Yeah.
I will say, if I can just throw this in really quick, my cousin is the flight attendant right now for the Calgary Flames, and she said that Lucic is, like, by far one of the nicest people she met. I'm like, really? Wow. I was like, there you go.
For sure. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
There you go.
They're probably amazing. Like, you know, you're in the heat of battle. These are all people that are amazing human beings, I would imagine. So I don't know. I'm kind of taken. I'd never expected to think that Ginla would be.
Look at the way he plays hard. He smashes guys. You think he's like,
product of his environment.
Yeah. I'm gonna back out here for a minute. Let the three of you talk for a couple minutes before we end the show.
I have to be on my way too here, so I'm going to sign off too, guys.
Yeah, I'm almost done too.
Okay, well, okay. Why don't we just end the show then? Okay, because everybody is leaving.
We need more Alyssa Hope next time. Sorry about that.
We do.
We need more Alyssa Hope.
I enjoyed it. Thanks for inviting me to be on, guys. It was fun.
Absolutely.
What she said about Crosby made the whole show worth it.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
exactly. Everybody in Canada is happy. We're listen, I want to thank, on behalf of everybody on the show, we've got a long list. I don't know where the file is, but James had created a file that shows everybody's name who's a contributor to the show and works on the show. I don't know if anybody's in the back over here who has that. Obviously not, because I told James, I said, I can. Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at that design in the background too. That's beautiful.
I like it.
Isn't it?
Oh man, it's
awesome. Look at this.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
So, and I'm like, I said to James, I'm like, why are you putting my name and Dale's name there? I'm like, don't put our names. It's focusing on everybody else, right?
No, you guys are the glue. Come on. You guys are the glue. Come on.
I'm the Gorilla Glue. Remember that story? The lady got stuck with the Gorilla Glue in her hair.
I did not hear that story. You'll have to bring that up again because I want.
You didn't hear that story? It was all over the news. Yeah.
Oh, I only watch so much news. Too depressing.
Was that in Canada?
No, it was in the States.
She was American.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. One of yours. All the craziness happens here. Florida, I swear, is the worst for that stuff.
She's trying to probably sue them for something.
Unless you're one of a kind. We're not worried about it.
We're not worried about you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Can I just say one thing? I just found it hilarious. Sometimes I go down the rabbit hole on YouTube, and you might find this humorous, but I found a video of someone literally wanting to sue a teacher for not giving a child a second chance breakfast. Like, I'm just like, what? Like, what? Like, what even? It's just amusing to me,
What's a second chance breakfast?
Yeah. I don't know.
I never got a first chance breakfast, so I don't know what's going on. People are strange. I will tell you that. So listen, on behalf of everybody in this group, in this team, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Big thank you to Don Cherry, who made his re-debut after a year and a half of being off of television to come on a Saturday night. We had a really fun conversation about hockey tonight. I was so happy to hear the respect he has for Montreal, for all of his friends that are francophone, for the Forum, for the talent on that Montreal's Canadian team. He gave a great perspective on all those things. And you know what? Thank him also for wearing a suit that was red. I just thought that was classy, and I'd love to take a picture of that, send it out on Twitter, and be like, this guy, he went out of his way.
I fired that out real quick. Oh yeah, I said, look how sharp Dale and Don looked.
No, but what I'm trying to say is he went out of his way to show that I'm on a Habs show. I'm going to represent that color, and to me that means a lot. And maybe. Maybe we had a lot of comments about people like, yeah, you know what, Don is Don, and so on, but that's fine. But he went out of his way when no one asked him to. No one. We're just walking and talking in hockey, and he went out of his way to showcase that he's a Habs fan, that he has respect for the organization, respect for the city, loves guys like Dale, still involved in hockey, and that to me was great because we are the Habs Tonight show, and the fact that he decided to get back onto a platform after a year and a half, face to face, talking like this, and choose a show called Habs Tonight. I don't think Dale would be doing a show called Bruins Tonight. After a year and a half, if something like that happened to, well, maybe he would. It's showing the type of person he is. So I want to thank Don Cherry for coming on. I'd like to as well thank his son Tim for putting everything together. Wouldn't have been able to do it without his son. So a big thank you very much to Tim. Thank you to James, to everybody involved in the show, Alyssa, Drew, and to my partner in crime, who does not get enough credit for how awesome he is, Mr. Dale Weise, who is not only the Dutch Gretzky on the ice, he's just the Dutch Gretzky off the ice.
He follows me on Twitter, guys. He follows me on Twitter. So.
I love that tweet. That was awesome.
That was really fun.
You know what? This is. I'll say this, okay, for folks who don't know, when you see Dale and the energy that he brings and how excited he gets on the bench, it's the exact same about this show and about the future of what we're doing. I have not seen an individual get so excited. And the first time him and I talked, he was like, yeah, let's do this thing. And then it's kept that. And then we went from having, 10 people watching us, 20, 30, small group amount of people, to now having, thousands of people watching videos. And it's not even been a month of what we're doing. And we just barely scratched the surface. We are just starting. Remember that. So if you're in our way, sorry, but we're going to come at you 1,000 miles an hour. We don't do, as Dale would say, and I would say, we don't do things half-assed. We go in there and we are going to break the walls down, like Chris Jericho would say.
I had the theme music playing in my head.
You like that, eh? So I was throwing it in to break the walls down. The Raptors want to have their first female broadcast. That's amazing. Great for them.
Beautiful.
You know who did it beforehand? Habs Tonight. Okay.
I'm saying that.
Okay. This is what we talk about. Dale and I are like, listen, we need this. This is the way that we are going to do things different than everybody else. We're not going to do a show and have, females on the program because everybody says this is what you have to do. No one told us to do it, but it was important to Dale. We need to have diversity. Like, these were some of the first conversations that were just important to him and I. And so proud of what this team, Alyssa, Steffi, everybody has accomplished. Nick, like, it's amazing. And everybody is so well deserved, and I cannot say enough amazing things. And that's why this program and the other programs that follow are going to go to amazing heights because of the passion from the top, which we really don't have a top. We all share in this equally, but from the passion that we all have, right? And it wouldn't be possible without without this great, amazing team. So I went on for a rant there. I'm sorry. Dale's going to be like, I got to go by after I just spilled my heart out, man.
I got to take my son to McDonald's. I promised him I'd take him to McDonald's. So I'm, he's waiting graciously.
Thanks for believing in me, guys, by the way. I just want to say that. Thanks for believing in me.
Alyssa, you're the best.
It means a lot, and I really appreciate it.
Can't wait to work with you more, Alyssa. It's going to be a blast. And Steffi and Anik. So I can't wait to work with you guys. We're going to have so much fun.
Don Cherry tonight, folks. That was awesome.
What a show. What a show, guys. Great job.
Can't wait for this to go in the algorithm. Okay, to everybody out there, be safe, be happy, and remember, be kind to everyone and treat people the way you always want to be treated yourself. Enjoy yourself for the rest of the weekend, and we will see you on Wednesday with Chris Pronger. Oh, that's going to be a good one.